Nice. Oh, wait, while he's gone, I'm going to check to see if this works. It doesn't work. Fuck. It doesn't work at all. Does anybody know how to do this? If you're on Toast Rack's side or if you're in my stream, like if you could figure this out, that would be awesome. I am trying to put in little check mark, like little markers or something on my VOD when I hit this button. I found like this thing made for the Stream Deck, and I'm supposed to be able to just hit this button and it puts a marker on the VOD so that like when I go to edit, I don't have to go sifting through 4.5 hours of dog shit before I get to a cool little clip. And it's refusing to work. This guy's critiquing my stream schedule as if I don't have a stream schedule, dude. No stream schedule.
Okay, have I been banned?
No. I haven't said anything bad at all. I kind of... I took a small stance against those people that do the 24-hour streams where it just plays their old videos like on a loop.
Oh, I saw the PewDiePie test stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
luck with that.
Yeah, I was about to...
He's on time.
I was about to go hard on him, but then I forgot you're not allowed to talk bad about other partners. Has to be...
Really?
Yeah, you have to be positive.
Cheers.
I love you guys. Oh, if any streamers are in this chat, Toast Rack, I love you, dude. All right? I love all partners.
Look, I think I'm a really good judge of character, and I can tell sincerity when I hear it.
I hate everybody that's not partnered. If you haven't reached that threshold, my own mom, hate her guts. Anybody that hasn't made it a partner, I hate them. But once you reach partner status, you're like family. Not actual family like my mom, because I hate her guts, but like a new family, like a Twitch. You're part of the Twitch family.
Exactly. You need to borrow money. You need somewhere to stay for the night. No, hit me up. No problem.
Yeah. All partner, but you know, real partners, real partner friends are of course millionaires, multimillionaires.
Yeah.
Twitch billionaires.
There should be a blue check mark in Twitch. That's
they're like an equivalence. Actually, I think you get a purple check mark.
Actually, there is a purple check
mark.
Yeah,
you get a purple one.
Yeah.
Which
there needs to be another level.
I like the purple one that's gender neutral. Unlike Twitter, which is blue's a very manly color.
That's right. There's no pink. There's no
pink
check mark.
I like the purple though, because then it's like, you know, I'm just a creator. I'm for everybody.
Yeah. You're just a loose unit of any description.
All right. Oh, dude, I forgot.
When was the last time you played Escape from Tarkov?
I played earlier today.
Oh, there you go. You did a warm-up.
Yeah, I did a warm-up. Well, you know, I knew I'd be playing with you, so I was like, I
better get good.
Better crack my knuckles, make sure I remember which one fires the bullets and which one looks down the sights or whatever.
I'm not sure who's going to be carrying whom on this.
And then and I killed raiders. Not raiders. I was with people. Or rogues or whatever.
Yeah.
And the people I was with did the majority of the work. But you know, I got a gun. They let me take a gun home. So that's a win, right?
Well, that means you're one of the big kids.
Yeah. And I got a gunslinger backpack, which that means I'm cool. So I didn't even know this backpack was in the game. That's how unplugged I am from this game.
Yeah, that's right. There's been new apparel. That's right. Yeah. Well, what do you fancy doing? I mean, I imagined we'd put on silly outfits and go harass people in, you know, D2 or something like that.
No, we can go wherever. Honestly, D2 has been honestly too profitable. Now I've spent so much time on reserve, I'm almost willing to go anywhere else just to kind of see like. I haven't been anywhere else in a long time. We could
spend some time on streets.
Yeah, let's go there.
That's full of sweaty action.
Oh well, okay. You know, maybe like customs might be our alley.
Yeah. I was on customs earlier. I was trying to find the goon squad. and they were meant to be hanging out there, but they never showed up. But
Is that like? Oh, is that
the
like
new
Big Pipe
the trio?
and stuff?
Yeah, Big Pipe. Yeah, those guys. There's a quest to get them.
I love like the concept of this game, like what they think. Like I love the idea of just like this guy's not always here, but he has a chance of showing up. But I hate how much they gear this game towards streamers because I fucking play video games for a living, and I don't have time to like play the maps this much where I'm gonna ever see Big Pipe or whatever where he's roaming. Like what's the percentage?
I know it's like
spawning
10 or 15 or something like that. I don't know all the numbers, but it's not high. 20 maybe 20%.
That's high. Better than what I thought it was. I could have swore like their spawn rates were like 3%.
Yeah,
or something.
Well, they were earlier. 18 chat is saying 18%, but
18.
And that's been increased to 18 recently. So that's right. Yeah, they should gear the game towards people who have a couple of hours a week, but of course, all they see is streamers. They don't see the regular people.
Not even a couple hours a week, just like 3 hours a day.
Yeah, 2 hours a day. Yeah, I think it's 2 hours a day. Sorry,
because I like to think like gaming is like the new TV, and a lot of people get home and they sit back and they put on fucking ESPN with their feet up, and then they chill there and watch that. Yeah, like the new guy thing is to sit back and shoot at Russian people on the computer.
Exactly. That's like a good American.
Oh yeah, Semper Fi. All the ex-military guys are playing this game. Hell yeah! And then there's us.
Oh, that's right.
And then there's me and you.
That's right. There's the people who can actually strip and rebuild the gun they're using blindfolded, and then there's me who just picks one up off someone and goes, "Okay, this will do."
All right, I think I'm ready.
Custom sounds good. Oh, now we need to create a party. Now, we need to exchange in-game names. Or I can add you, but I need to know what your in-game name is today.
How do I find that out? Oh wait, I bet you if I go to like skills,
overall tab says it right behind where your camera is.
Oh, my name's all right. Write this down. General Sam. One word. Oh my God, my survival rate and everything's right there for everybody to see. This is horrific. Don't look at that, guys.
Proud. You should be proud.
I haven't had a good wipe, honestly.
Look, as long as you've had a good time. Are you level 18? That is you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sent you a friend request. So you
have to go somebody else did too. Oh, they're coming in now.
Oh yeah, everyone. Yeah, one of them is Toastrack TV.
Okay. And I'm assuming that's you, Toastrack TV.
And that's me. Yeah.
Okay. Toastrack TV. You're level 56.
56.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Don't worry, I'll be gentle.
56.
That's just from hours played, honestly.
What's your survival rate? Let's see the stats here. What's your overall?
I try and keep it above 50 because I run away from a lot of fights, but I think I'm 49. I've been as low as 25.
Okay.
But I'm crawling my way back up.
I'm at 38%. So it's
probably
a middle ground.
How many PMCs have you killed though? Because
not many.
Not many. Yeah. I usually have handfuls.
157 kills. I don't know if that counts.
That's pretty good because I have 227 PMC kills, but that's in 900 raids.
What?
So your ratio's got to be good.
Well, I kind of like the progression of the game like doesn't make sense to me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I'm not like that into just like doing the long haul.
Yeah.
And so whenever there's any amount of hold on. I might be able to find like actual PMCs killed because I think that's everything. I think 157 might be the whole.
Yeah. No, there's a line item way down.
Oh no. I've only killed like, what is that? Like 40 something? That number's much lower.
Yeah, but in 160 raids, that's not too bad.
Yeah. Oh wait, they have this party system. All right, I'm ready whenever you are.
We're in a party. Okay, so I'll drive. I'll drive.
Yeah. For the inventor of the rat category, this guy sure dies a lot. Okay, let me tell you something. Okay. I have a rebuttal to this. Okay. So for those of you, because I'm trying to put this in perspective outside of like this game.
Mm-hmm.
If you guys have ever played DayZ, you'll know that the way that that game's played is you initially get into it and you go like, oh, the mystery of Shanaris. Let's figure this out. How far does the game go? And you end up making a little camp way up in the north, hidden in the forest. And then you leave your little camp and crawl through the bushes every day to go down into like some place where you can like loot cycle stuff, and then you scurry back into your camp, and then by the end of the wipe you realized I just wasted half my goddamn time crawling around when there was probably nobody there. And you fix up a car, you fix up maybe a helicopter or something like that, you feel cool, but like once you experience it, you're like, I kind of just want to shoot someone in the face at the end of like I just want to get to the action. And so quickly your play style, at least for me, I would spawn on the beach. I don't know if you've played DayZ or
I've
not.
watched it.
You've watched it. You haven't played that game? You're like such a technical guy. I figured you would be all over DayZ.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Uh-huh.
It is. If this game is considered technical, that game's got so many little weird systems, and I figured it would be right up your alley. I could see
more
you
so than Rust,
making a little camp. And now Rust is so sweaty though.
Okay.
Any game where like a little 13-year-old's going to sit there outside your base door because he doesn't have work the next day and he sits out there for 8 hours with a gun is like something I'm not going to play. But eventually on DayZ, you get bored of that, of actually prospering and living. And so you spawn on the beach and you might go north to go get some guns or something, but then you come back to the beach. And you come back to the entry cities because that's where all the people are, and you just wreak havoc. And that's how I am with this game. Like I don't care about progression. I'm just like, I got a gun and I hear somebody else shooting in the distance, and I just run like a rabid dog.
Well, that's what I liked about Battle Royale back in the day, because you'd spend a good half hour just putting a decent kit together by looting, avoiding all the fights until there was 10 people left, and then you fought it out. And things went south from there. But I enjoyed the process of sort of getting the ultimate kit together for this one fight. That sounds a little like
that is kind of
on
cool.
a longer scale.
Yeah.
But eventually,
I didn't even realize that. Everybody in chat's just like, you've just come full circle. You're a Chad now. You either die a rat or you live long enough to become the Chad.
Develop muscles. Yeah, that's right. An old rat has some Chad-like qualities, but it doesn't make him a Chad.
Yeah. An old rat has stopped storing food and just tries to steal other people's. No, and meeting Devin, meeting Expo Camper ruined me, because it's just like, at first I would just rat to acquire wealth. And then I realized, I can just go absolutely bananas for like, until my stash is almost empty, and then go grab a Makarov and sit in a corner at an exit. And then if I need money, I mean, that's my banana stand. Exit camping is my banana stand. There's always money in the banana stand. There's always money in D2 sitting in a corner, just get your little pistol and go sit in your corner. You'll get a full kit, and somebody that's been successful will come by eventually.
Right. That's right. We can never go back to streets, but I'll always have D2.
Yeah.
I sent you a squad stream invite.
Oh, hold on. I think I can figure this out first try. Let's see.
It's one of the buttons on the stream page of Twitch.
Decline. Why'd they put the decline button first?
First, yeah, it's so attractive looking.
Yeah, I was about to hit that thing. I was hovering over it before I read it. All right. And then now you just started it and it's good?
I press start and chat confirms whether I've got a squad stream going.
Okay.
I should do.
I think so. And then do I post like do I post the link to the squad stream? Is that something I'm supposed to do?
It's just your page. No, before squad streaming was invented, other sites would do a link with two people's names in it. But you don't need to do that now.
Yeah.
Oh, have you pinned a message? I've only recently discovered pinning a message. So
What do you mean?
I put a message in chat saying I'm streaming with General Sam. You can find him over at blah, and then you can hover next to that message and say pin it, and it sticks at the top of chat.
With Toast Rack
TV
at
twitch.tv/ToastRackTV.
Twitch.tv/Toast Rack. Oh no, I don't have enough time to do this. I'm totally fucking this up.
Unpin that tweet.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Hold on, I'm also not using the right thing. I'm using Chatterino, and I'm not using the actual Twitch chat.
Oh, okay. So we're in a kind of in the middle of the fight right now.
I just realized how big my face cam was huge. It was taking like a third of my screen. Oh, all right, we're good. All right, dude. Look at this G36. I pried this out of a guy's hands.
Let's go storm the stronghold because nobody ever goes to stronghold.
Yeah. We'll get some kills there.
Yeah.
If I do well, it's all because of my epic Bear Dynamic 990 Pros or whatever.
Well, they're meant to have a wide stereo separation, which is good for left and right placement and shit.
A wide stereo
soundstage. It's a wide soundstage.
Really?
You know that when you're listening to music.
You are the exact person. Like if someone was to ask me, what person do you think would have a weird little Linus Tech tip about a product you bought when you bring it up, I would say probably someone like Toast Rack. I've never been like, hey, I got headphones, and then somebody go, you know what? Not only do I have those headphones, but here's a little factoid about them. Wide soundstage, baby. They got it wide.
Yes, you want that. You want that.
I didn't even read a single thing about these.
Should we make a loud noise?
Yeah. No, I'm grabbing some peas, some pineapple. There we go.
Okay. Loud noise.
Oh yeah, that's nice and loud.
Okay. They know we're here now.
I'm gonna make, dare I say it, the game volume louder.
Yeah.
Wait, what am I doing? I need to go look from... I think I just got shot at, dude. Like 90% sure.
You did what?
I think I got shot at.
Oh.
Oh yeah, there's a guy looking at us from down... Ooh, right. You just got shot at.
I just got shot at. I'm running downstairs.
That was an epic hit, too. There's a guy at... there's a 18-wheeler that's in between us and old gas station.
Yep.
And he's like hanging out behind it.
Is the 18-wheeler a train?
No, it is a full-ass 18-wheeler.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a truck. Oh, I'm sorry. 18. Is that not like? Is that not the preferred nomenclature for New Zealanders?
No. I see the one. Okay.
Wait, there's also a guy saying something about de Bogolo.
Something about your mother. Yeah.
Oh, is that what he says?
I'm not sure. I just assume that.
This is me downstairs.
Oh
my god. You kill that guy. I'm gonna run in here. I don't know what the hell's going on.
I killed that scav.
Okay. 18-wheeler guy is still MIA, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't think that was that dude.
No,
I got a CMS kit. Sweet.
There's not. There's a the 18-wheeler. I see 18-wheeler guy. It's a scav. And I shot him through the window. Nice. I think he was angry at 18-wheeler player though.
Wait a second.
I don't think that's scav.
What?
He was fighting with someone and I killed him.
Where are you? Is that you under the stairs?
Downstairs at the staircase,
okay.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, boss? How you doing? Hey, man. How you doing, man? Hey. Let's go to... I did that one time with... Who the hell was it where I started talking to him in like a weird voice and they were like, it's not you! And they just immediately shot me.
Okay, I got shot at again.
That was from Crack House.
Was it from Crack House?
Yeah.
So we're surrounded.
Absolutely.
Things are going great.
Yeah. Poke your head up through there.
Yeah.
And sit real still so they don't see the movement.
Yeah.
How about
the
we
power's
just
on? We can
how about-
extract right now.
Oh hell yeah, let's get out of here. No. What we do though is we preemptively. Do you have the key for this?
Yeah. Hopefully, yeah.
Okay.
Unlock.
Yeah, unlock it.
We make it look like we're bolted.
Yeah. And then we'll also shoot the light.
Uh-huh.
So that other people don't think the power's on, and then we close the door.
The Twitter account has been MIA.
Oh my god.
Okay. We got to hold this. We got to hold this till reinforcements arrive.
I'm getting berated over here. People are like, "You're
For your
my
prowess?
Twitter account." No, they like. I haven't updated my goddamn Twitter account for my podcast in forever. But what the hell am I supposed to tweet on that thing? What do you tweet on a podcast Twitter?
Yeah.
I don't even know why we have one.
They need to relax.
Yeah, I think I'm supposed to be doing marketing or something like that, which is like every person that I know that does this job sucks at doing that part.
Exactly, yeah. That's because it sucks, yeah.
Well, that's because it feels like, that's the first time it feels like a job. That and talking to people that are sponsored, like the marketing team for sponsors, because then they always want to act like they're friends with you and shit. Like, hey, buddy, do you want to sell some Manscaped?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I'm doing this because you give me money.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about your damn razor.
Yeah.
I'm going to Old Gas, dude. There's a guy over here, and we're gonna go confront him. Come on.
Let's go talk to him.
Yeah.
Let's go reason with him.
You hear those gunshots?
Yeah, they're further away, which is good.
Yeah.
Up at dorms, you want to go chase that.
Don't go through that door. That's a dangerous door.
That is a dangerous door.
We're going up and over.
Yeah, we're
The real way.
using our parkour skills.
Uh-oh.
Scav on the other side.
Get
of the
real
fence.
close to that wall. Oh, whoa, there's another one over there next to the gas
Yeah.
pump.
I think that means if there's scavs there, there's not players. And it's okay to go. Oh, I see him at the gas pump, right?
No, I'm sorry, the petrol pump.
Yeah, the petrol.
I'm sorry.
Please use the correct
Yeah.
nomenclature.
How have you been enjoying San Fran?
I enjoyed here. I've been a bunch of times before. I have two cousins who come from New Zealand, but they moved here like decades ago.
Yeah.
And so I always have a home base I can come to and catch up with them.
Oh,
So
that's
it's really
awesome.
nice. Yeah. Whoa.
You know
Teamwork.
what? This gun's got a lot more vertical recoil than I thought.
Yeah, that can happen.
Yeah.
Is there one more somewhere? Yes, answered my own question. He's
Ooh,
out
who
near
is-
the... Whoa!
Did you just die?
Getting ruined here.
I was about to say, it sounded like you just ate shit. Are you alright? You alright, buddy?
Some of my limbs are okay.
That's good. There's grenades and stuff, too. There's multiple grenades.
What is going on here?
Yo, how's the burst fire on this G36?
Yeah, or single fire even.
Nah, I want to see that
Will
burst.
we get more Skate 3?
I'm just hiding behind the petrol tanker for quite a while now.
Okay,
You
I'm going to lay
take care
down
of
here,
them
too.
And yeah.
Somebody just asked me a question that's going to take a long time to answer. I'll be right back. I'm going to mute for this one.
You do that.
Actually, wait, am I muted? Can you hear me, Toastfire? Okay. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. As for the Skate 3 thing, someone actually just sent me a cracked build of Skate 4. Did that kill him? And I kind of want to do something, but it's NDA. Like, I'll definitely get sued if I fucking play it, but I'm going to be playing that shit by myself for sure. Sorry, I was just talking about awesome.
I just got grenaded to death.
You are the most stoic person ever. You just ate a grenade, didn't say shit about it.
I was already talking to chat, so I
Just
figured
quiet.
You just finish your diatribe or
That's
statement
fine.
or whatever it is. So I died behind that
Yeah.
petrol gas. whatever
Hackers
tanker.
got us, of course.
That was a player.
Yep.
I can confirm.
He shot me with bullets, which should be impossible to do.
Usually
huge
fatal.
indicator of hackery.
Yeah, definitely.
I plan on dying of old age, so anybody that kills me before then is hacking.
Well, we looked for action and we found it.
Yeah, sort of. I didn't even get to like see the guy. He was.
I know. I didn't.
Kind of
I
hiding
just
behind
heard
something.
him throwing things. Yeah.
We should have jumped over the wall, man. I told you, I said, man,
Well,
don't go in there.
I went through the gate. What was I thinking?
Hold on. You're going to be astounded with how fast I re-gear up and I'm ready to go.
Oh, I was hoping you were slow because I take a while.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of slow my roll a little bit, and I'm going to, pick something a little bit slower this time. There we go. Okay, I'm ready. No, I'm not. I need to get a gun. I was gonna bring out a Keter. Like, what kind of vibe are you going with? Do you think we should synergize, or do you think we should? Should have like arms.
Yeah. No, I think
shotgun sniper.
We should have. I'm all for matching outfits, man.
Ooh, matching outfits. What does that entail?
I just. I think one of the first videos of yours. No, it wasn't first, but one of the ones that stuck in my memory was dressing as a scav and that stuff. Or I watched your squad stream and everyone had to wear a certain hat.
Oh yeah, we'd always wear that stupid the motorcycle helmet or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. The tank helmet.
Yeah. The tank helmet was a big. It's always the helmet that no rational person would wear, and so you see it and go, "That's one of us." Yeah, for sure. I look at you for 2 seconds. No asshole is wearing the tank helmet, even if they spawn with it as a scav. They usually take it off.
That's right, because you hear less and it's no protection.
Yeah. No, I have eaten 7mm buckshot to the head multiple times.
Oh, I stand
with
corrected.
A tank helmet. Yeah,
I stand corrected.
A stray BB from 4 miles away will get stopped by the cloth tank helmet.
See, this is the sort of stuff I come to your channel to learn.
Yeah, nobody else is doing these tests. I'm the only person. That put forth the effort. Oh shit! I got like a completely
move
full
over Veritas.
Yeah,
we're doing the real
move over science nerds. I have new information.
Did you think I meant Veritasium?
Oh yeah, yeah, that guy, the guy from the.
See, I mentioned a Twitch streamer, but you just hear the YouTube streamer with the nearest name. I think that's YouTube.
It's the guy from the Bill Nye stuff as well. He's in Bill Nye's new show. Yeah, because Bill Nye's so old and feeble. He's like David Attenborough now. And
he can't do a full day shooting anymore.
They're like, we need you to go to Mexico City, and he's like, and so they send Veritasium there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Bill Nye just sits back and does whatever the hell he does.
I used to work on Mythbusters, the TV show, and
What? Really?
That's when they brought in the build team to do half the show because they didn't want to do the hours they used to do.
Oh, so how late in the show were you?
Well, I was there during the introduction of the build team, so it was early on. It was like 2005.
Prime Mythbusters.
Oh yeah, peak Mythbusters.
Yeah, peak. Oh, childhood crush. Carrie.
Oh, yeah, Carrie. Oh,
Byron or whatever.
Yeah, Carrie Byron. Yeah.
Women that are smart, women that can read. Oh, that gets me going. Yeah, women that are literate. Oh my god, that's so hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got brain and stuff. She could probably do taxes if we got married. Or taxes.
Well, plus she can do welding. I mean, she could just
welding and taxes. Oh my god, I would just be a fat little hedonist in like a hammock all day, while my sexy Carrie Byron does all the.
Let me know when you need some sperm. Otherwise, you handle
it. Yeah. I will be here in my sex hammock if you need me, Carrie. You continue taking care of the homestead. Yeah, that rocks. You know what? I bet you women don't have little fantasies like that about like not explicitly sexual, but there's a sexual element to it. But it mostly just revolves around me being lazy as hell and just laying on my ass all day. I'm sure they probably got those too. But what am I talking about? Yeah, there's the whole like gold digger thing. I forgot about that.
I thought that was like made up by men.
Is it? No. There's like so many. The dude that died in the house that I'm in now.
Oh, okay.
I got it. Yeah, his wife was like so much younger. Yeah, I had to kill a guy to get this house.
Yeah, is that before or after you moved in?
I was like, that's a nice house, fella. And I kicked him down the stairs. Nah, he was like 90 something. He was old as shit. Yeah.
He had it coming.
Oh, dude, there's people in chat that are saying such misogynistic things. Jesus. What's wrong with you guys?
In your chat.
This guy said she got pregnant, so it killed the vibe for a bit. You're not into pregnant ladies? What's wrong with you? Come on, man. There's nothing wrong with a pregnant lady. I guess if it's not yours, it's less endearing. I guess I wouldn't date like an actively pregnant woman that has somebody else's kid. But oh yeah, I probably should have had a gun on me. Hold on, not ready.
Take your time. Not ready is the button you need.
I can get an SKS. What are you going out with? What's your?
Well, we were going like light machine gun. So I've got an I don't know what it's called. What have I got, chat? MXP MP.
Oh, MPX.
Yeah, MPX.
MPX.
See, I was so close. I had the correct letters, just not the correct order.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring a UMP then, which is like the better version.
Yeah.
I'll one up you.
Yeah, you do that.
I'm gonna get 4 mags. I'm gonna put the cheapest ammo in here I can get.
It's quantity, not quality.
That's my play style. What's Hydra shock ammo?
That's the one that was recommended to me today for hunting bosses with. Like one tap of face because it's got so much flesh damage.
Wow, they're $2 a bullet though.
Well, that figure often rounds like that's rounded to the nearest dollar, so it may only be 151.
Oh, yeah, because it was like 150 something to get this many. Okay, so I got a bunch of these. Yeah, I got 150, and I don't think that's going to cover my mags.
No, you're gonna need a stocking stuffer as well.
Yeah, I got backup 50. And then you know what? Wait, what's this one having it? FMJ. What do you think about this was a hot little subject we were talking about earlier. What do you think is going to happen with like what industries or what jobs do you think are just going to get swallowed up in the next 10 years from AI?
Well, I remember a couple of years ago there was a fashion of publishing articles saying a timeline of the next couple of decades and which professions are going to get replaced by AI when. And I remember looking at that and seeing TV editor is sort of 10 to 15 years away. I'm good. I'm going to make it. But journalists, they're all fucked.
Yeah, I think journalism is going to be.
Yeah, well, it already was because of when the internet happened and all the newspapers decided to start publishing for free on the internet and not paying their journalists anymore. I mean, that sort of happened. And also the
all right, I'm ready.
Classified ads went away,
Wait.
so all the money went away.
Wait.
So now you press
okay.
When you're ready, down near the squad in the bottom left, it says something like
into
something badly
raid.
Translation into raid. Yeah. In
okay, wait. Back it up.
So
you were saying journalism has kind of died. I think it's just adapted. I think it's just adapted to the internet. It hasn't been wiped out by automation.
I think the number of
by any
journalists
means.
has been decimated though. Sure.
Oh, that's true. Because they used to they used to be like, hey Bob, go on down to the county fair and do a little write up on it.
Yeah.
And now I think my local
now Reuters send one person and then everyone uses that one person's shot.
That's true. Yeah. And then NPR has like one person in each country basically. And I think their little person that they reach out to isn't even probably full-time NPR. I bet you they're like
right
on
they're a blogger.
Yeah, on the case and they do like freelancing for every major. They're like, you need a guy in Helsinki, baby, I'm here. Like I'm your on the boots on the ground reporter for anybody that needs me.
You got an outfit put together there that I'm impressed.
You told me to look all scabbed up.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I just said I remembered fondly when you did that. So I will do that next race. We'll definitely.
I got enough red hats to go all night, baby. You better keep up. I got red hats for days. I collect these things.
That's what's filled up your scab junk box is apparel.
I was asking ChatGPT earlier. I was like, what industries do you think you're going to totally screw over?
Yeah.
Because I saw some, I mean, this is not exactly a credible like source or anything, but it was some just bullshit write-up. You know, internet, like probably written by AI, honestly. But it projected that, I forget who it was that projected it or whatever, but they assume that like 300 million jobs worldwide are going to be wiped out from automation by AI in like the next decade, which seems like a lot of data entry, like fresh out of college type, like filling up spreadsheets.
What are those? They're thinking call centers are going to get replaced soon, but I can't. I don't know. Whenever I've used a press button menu or a AI chatbot, I just say operator over it again because. The chatbot can never do the exceptions that you require.
That's because that's old timey stuff. This is we're talking about new AI, baby. We're talking about the new real deal. When that's implemented, that's going to be a game changer. It'd be way more helpful than just lazy people that hate their job. What I used to do is I would go. They would ask me a question, and you would have to go like yes, no, for it to understand, and I would just go. I'd just say like gibberish, and they'd be like, "Could you say that one more time, please?" And I'd go like, and they'd be like, "All right, I have no idea what the fuck's going on. We're gonna connect you to a person."
Yes.
And then I'll talk to the person and be like, "Hey, what's up?" And they'd be like, "Jesus Christ, I know exactly what you did."
You again.
Yeah. They probably can hear a recording of my attempts at answering the question beforehand.
There's a transcript.
Like, a transcript. This guy just said like gibberish. He's speaking like jellyfish tongue or something.
I guess delivery driver will be on the list there somewhere soon if driverless cars actually work one day.
No, because there's always gonna, not always, but I mean, as of right now, there's always gonna have to be that sap that gets out of the car and brings the package to your doorstep.
Ah, yeah.
What they should get is like a t-shirt cannon. And then it pulls up and like parallel parks in front of your house and just does a drive-by and it like launches whatever it is at your house at like 100 miles per hour. Your kid comes out to greet the UPS car when it pulls up and it just launches your mail order katana.
Yes.
Oh, my 52-piece lawn dart set. Your kid gets fucking Swiss cheesed in the front yard. No.
Teething problems with the robot.
Yeah. No, I think but I do think like long distance driving, like 18-wheelers and stuff.
Oh,
like, you know, the long haul trucking, you know, with the CB radio and everything.
Dorms people.
What the hell's wrong with you? No, we're not going to dorms. It took me 4.5 minutes to put this gear on. I'm not going back to the main menu this quick. I'm not entering the scoop phase in 4 minutes.
No
Can
one
we at
goes
least
to
go
dorms anymore.
Everybody goes to dorms. The one guy that got on here and was sweating. He's like, "Oh, I need to get some fucking action." He's going to be patrolling those hallways. Let me lead the way. We're going to jump up and over, and we're going to go over to the construction side, back over to that button warehouse where you hit the button to turn the power on.
Yes.
That's
right.
For some reason, that area.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, that gets early action. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my little action area for no reason. I mean, I don't think it has.
See the common theme here. It's jumping over walls.
I love it.
Leads to wins.
Yeah. Not wins, but it makes you feel like a goddamn action hero when you jump over a wall. Have you ever jumped over like a little picket fence or something to like You know, if your dog's fighting another dog or something. There's a guy that just jumped over. Eat lead, murderer!
He's not dead yet, by the way.
We'll be in a second.
Oh, I'm dead.
Oh. Don't worry, I got him.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see what he had on him. This guy was level 41.
I think we both shot very badly.
Fuck. Fuck. God damn it. I did that thing where, like, I'm prone and my guy's just like... Okay, you're laying prone. A guy you know is aiming a gun at you comes up over, like, aiming down at you. Are you going to go like, this kind of hurts my shoulder, so I'm not going to be able to raise my gun up an extra 2 degrees? Like, my guy just, like, reached the limit of what he would aim up while laying down.
Yes.
You gotta... No, I would just start hip firing or something up into the abyss. Even if I can't aim down sights, I would at least attempt. But it's fine.
You got killed by... Oh, right. A different...
different guy. He, like, roamed over there. No, I think it was a completely different guy.
So the action was converging at that point.
Oh, yeah.
The prediction was accurate.
Yeah. And we get... You know, I killed one. Yeah.
You had a great outfit, and I did stop and appreciate it.
I'll put together an equally good one. Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
I think I've got a Dr. Disrespect vest. That.
Ooh. Oh, this is just stupid enough to work, I think. This outfit sucks. And now I think I'm going to go... But I think I'm just going to bring out a regular ass AK. Can I do that?
Oh, yeah. Crazy.
Just a standard,
Mm-hmm.
fresh out the box from Mr. Kalashnikov himself. Just standard AK.
It sounds perfect.
What are you thinking? US or PRS ammo? What's your...
Of those two?
Yeah. What should I spend the big bucks on?
They're both bad. I like a bit of PP.
Both bad. You're gonna say that to the guy that killed the guy that killed you last round. You're gonna tell me what's good and what's bad. Let me tell you something. PRS is the one we're looking for. No, I'm putting BS in here. Don't worry. I'm putting the real deal. I'm fucking with you. I'm just fucking with you.
It works. It works.
He's probably like, what the hell?
Your acting skills.
What the? I'm not bringing a lot of ammo, though.
Therapist sold me these tiny blue pills that are supposed to make me as hard as Class 6 armor. I can't feel my toes, but I am trying to feel yours.
Oh yeah, I asked my chat any questions for Toast Rack, and one of them asked how like that Cialis and stuff. Does that stuff work? Is this as awesome as it sounds? Have you ever had that 4-hour boner that you had to call the helpline?
17 months. Only seen the screen twice.
Help! Help! I can't make it go down. Nah, nobody asked that.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, now I've got a thick, rich head of hair.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to... I think I lied. I'm actually going to put a badass reticle on here.
I'm bringing a shotgun.
Oh, wait. What kind of shotgun are you bringing?
I'm bringing the Saiga with the barrel. With the 20-round super barrel mag.
I have to follow suit. I'm sorry. I don't have the big barrel because I'm not that much of a man, but I do have a pimped out Saiga, sort of.
Nice. Yeah.
It'll work.
Everyone needs a pimped out Saiga.
Wait, what's that badass, like... There's a magazine that's huge, but not quite the drum mag.
Yeah, there's a 10 round that takes 3 slots.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna have that one on.
Yeah.
Backup, not backup. That's gonna be my primary blaster, and then I'll just throw it in the dirt when I'm done with it.
Yeah.
Once I kill 6 people, once I kill 10 people, because I just one hit.
Yeah.
You're bringing out Magnum Buck, right?
I've got Flechette here.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Yeah.
I have a serious problem with people that do AP20.
Oh yeah.
Because
Well, you used to be able to snipe across the map with that stuff, but not anymore.
Oh, okay. It was just the thought process of like, I'm going to bring out a shotgun, and this is one of the few games that shotguns do what shotguns are supposed to do, which is have some spread. And then they're like, let's make it like a laser. Let's make it like a rifle.
Yeah, I had a
just bring out another rifle. There's like, it doesn't need to be, you don't need to bring out the slugs. Use it as a shotgun, and if you want a rifle, bring out a hunter or something, or SKS.
Yeah. Or people who use a sniper rifle indoors or whatever. The opposite of that.
Drop the Spotify playlist. Also, you're fat.
Oh, fuck. Oh, wait, I got some John B's.
Perfect. Oh, good.
Dude, that's a cold look. Who do you go to you go to Ragman, right?
Yeah, he's the clothing guy.
I have like the default Dan stuff on. I might do a little upgrade here.
Oh yeah, spend some money.
Yeah.
I got the all black outfit, but it's pretty. He charges a pretty penny.
He does. He thinks a lot of this stuff.
He does.
Man, okay. Trying to get some stuff that just doesn't immediately look like PMC the second you see me. Okay. There's enough color going on here where that still looks kind of PMC-ish, but we're good.
Yeah, there's that blue top. You're at USEC, right?
You
you got bear stuff, right?
No, I think I'm USEC. No, I'm a bear. I'm a bear. Yeah, I got like some crazy like Russian camo or whatever.
Nice.
I don't know in what instance this would work. It's like they were planning on fighting in piss snow. It's like a yellow camo. I don't fucking know.
Perfect for nuclear power plants.
Yeah. In front of school buses and maybe like birch trees during the month of November. We can fight really well up in the canopies. All right, I'm ready. Let's do it. Accept it. I have no idea what my food and water's at, but I'm sure we'll be fine. We'll find some food in there. Always make sure to ensure your hat and nice. People are gonna see you and know you're PMC though when they see that mask for sure. Now you know what? Just tell them. Be like, no. I'm a scav. Like scav spawn with this for some.
I got this from someone else. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, it's me, Tagilla. So you don't think streamers are gonna get replaced with AI?
Yeah.
Oh, thank God, we're safe.
Some sort of Max Headroom. There was a TV show which was meant to be an AI host, which was played by an actor, and that was called Max Headroom in the 80s.
Yeah. I read about that in the history books. Yeah. You lived through that?
Oh yeah.
Whoa!
Holy cow! Yeah.
I remember. I think Homer, the guy that did the Odyssey and the Iliad, he he spun a yarn about old Max Headroom back in the day.
That's right.
Yeah, I can't believe you lived through that. Max Headroom. That's the guy from that Eminem music video, right?
No, he did turn up there. That's right.
Yeah, he does. He turns up in the Rap God one. I think my wife's like currently in school, or she's looking at like what the hell does she want to do for the rest of her life? Because she had a horrific job that was absolutely just. She would leave to go to work, and then she would come home, and she would look like she wanted to kill herself. And then she would look at me, and I would be sitting there with a stupid little grin on my face because I had been having fun all day, and it would make her like doubly want to do it. And then she like hated me, like, "Fuck you, you piece of shit! You don't have to deal with a shitty boss. You don't have to deal with shitty work. You don't have to deal with shitty people." And so I was like, "All right, well, why don't you quit and work for me for a little bit?" She didn't really do much. And then you can figure out what you want to do with your life. And so now she's like going in the direction of what are those people, dietitians?
Yes.
And I was like I feel like that AI replaceable?
Oh, right.
Because you can go to ChatGPT and go like, yeah, do me a meal plan for like very specific stuff. I have a gluten allergy and I want to do a 4-1 split workout, and so I need this many grams of protein a day, and it'll fucking do it all. It'll give you a huge meal plan, and you say break that down to ingredients.
Wellness industry stuff is half. I want to pay someone to hear all of my problems.
Oh yeah,
sympathize,
personal touch,
and and it'll be a while before AI gives a satisfying answer to that, I think.
So you're saying like in order for my wife to succeed in this position, she needs to not be a cold-hearted bitch. Oh, that's not good news. I'm gonna have to break it to her.
I think there's a market for tough love.
Is there a market for matronly old ladies that are like old nuns that like
we're talking like Nurse Ratched level from
like Abby's type of her type of encouragement is like when you reach for the jelly donut, she cracks your knuckles with a big yardstick,
She just reaches for the cane. She doesn't even need to touch it.
Yeah. She got a big cane hanging on the wall with dried blood all over it. She goes, do I need to go get that?
That's right.
How many carbs have you eaten today? Do I need to go get the cane?
I think my mum would say that it's like, go get the wooden spoon.
Oh, the wooden spoon. I had a when we moved out of my childhood home or childhood house. In the closet, I had a huge cardboard box that was at one point a microwave box, I believe. And I had just cut off the top flaps on it, and that was my toy chest. It was like the perfect dimensions for like a quarter of my closet. And so when I opened up the little accordion doors, like it didn't hit the box, but it was perfect for it. So I put all my toys in there. And when we went to go move out, we're emptying out the box of all my old toys, and at the bottom was like 15 wooden spoons, because every time I would do something bad, I'd be like, oh, I'm hiding the spoons before she finds this shit, because I know that's the first thing she'd go to fucking beat my ass was the wooden spoon.
Amazing. Where are all my spoons going?
Yeah.
I didn't break it again, did I? I was so drunk, I don't know.
Abby's mom had that's my wife, Abby. Her mom had it was a wooden spoon that she had drilled holes into, so it like whistled.
What?
It whistled as she cracked down on it. Yeah.
Wow.
And now I have kids, and I don't hit them at all because I'm not one of those people that goes like, I survived. I'm normal. I look in the mirror. I know I'm not fucking normal. I'm trying to raise people better than me. All right. I'm trying to go. Wait. Do you think people would try to come across this little junk bridge? Yeah.
Sometimes they do. Yeah, we could camp that junk bridge.
Just for like 1 second.
You must feel right at home in Tarkov where there's empty microwave boxes in every house.
Oh yeah. Well, I see that, and I remember the horror of the wooden spoon spankings.
You look inside and look for wooden spoons. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh no. I'm gonna hide these. You get in this little bush here.
Yeah. Bush camp. This is gonna work.
Yeah. They never suspect this.
Of course, there are 4 ways to cross the river. But this is the one I like.
I feel like it's a side thing. Like if you're on one side, then you come across this way. Yeah. If you're on the other side, you go across the other way.
That's true, yeah.
Every once in a while, someone will take the bridge. But if we hear them on the bridge, we'll just simply walk up there.
Only Chads take the bridge. Yeah, and they go across loud.
Yeah. And then the other side, nobody takes the middle land bridge. I feel like that one's so rare.
That's right.
There's like a weird. It's funny because I know the rational mind says nobody looks there because there's no real good vantage points over it, even though you can see it from every angle.
Yeah.
And so I go like, I don't want to just be like a sitting duck out in the open, but I bet you could walk out there, just hands in your pockets. Nobody's gonna shoot you because nobody's looking there. Yeah. Oh. $2,000 if I wake up my child right now. First of all, I know you're not going to pay that. Second of all, I would pay $2,000 to keep her asleep. She is driving me up the fucking wall. Is there water all over the floor? What just happened? I think I dropped an ice cube. It melted.
There are people in your house.
In my house?
I thought
Your
I heard
house?
something about dropped water on the floor.
Yeah, no, I dropped
Oh, that was
ice on the
you?
floor. Yeah.
Right.
I dropped
when you're
ice
off
on the
mic, you
floor.
sound like a different person.
Oh, really? Oh, Sam, your penis is so big. Oh, thanks, babe. All right, you go back upstairs. I'm playing games right now. Okay, I'm just gonna be laying naked in bed with Carrie Byron from Mythbusters. All right, babe, and leave me alone. Me and Toast Rack are playing. You don't have time for this bullshit. Whatever, it's fucking Thursday. It's just normal Thursday.
Well, you're the most famous Floridian seems to have got himself in a pickle again.
Wait. Okay, so you worked on Mythbusters. Did you? Who's the Jamie Heineman? Did you meet Jamie Heineman?
Well, it was the show was edited in. Here comes someone.
Where?
The show was shot in San Francisco and edited in Sydney.
Oh.
So there's not a lot of interaction with the cast. Someone just creeped down the opposite bank, but it's very
I see him. I see him.
Yeah, I was two of them, three of them.
Oh my fuck!
I get
All right,
ready.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh dear God!
Uh-oh. I was shooting just rock a lot.
Oh,
there.
guy ran up on you.
One's down.
Okay, you got him. I'm up on the hill. I'm kind of next to you now. Yeah.
I'm going
You
up
know
the
me.
road.
You know me from the drip. You know me from the drip.
Yeah.
Wait.
I need to repack. I'm not sure we got them all.
No.
Did you? How many
Oh!
did you kill?
I just got shot. Woo! Calm down. I'm
I
sorry.
see you getting shot at.
Oh, I'm getting
Okay.
shot at from the construction or something now. I'm just
Oh,
gonna go
there's
into this
third
ice
party.
cream
Okay.
place and
Yeah, I'm going in a shipping container. I need to repack.
wait. I found Tashanka.
Oh, fantastic!
Yes.
Delicious.
Okay, I hear him on the shipping container.
Really? Because I'm. Which shipping container? I'm.
Oh, at the
near-
bridge.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah. Wow, they have done irreversible damage to me.
I'm sorry
Oh
to hear
no.
that. Ego damage or physical?
No, the ego's intact. You kidding me? You didn't hear my wife back there? I got Carrie Byron in my bed. You kidding me? Ego is intact, brother. No,
I can
they shot
see
my arm and shattered
you
it.
Right. So you're near the ice cream shack.
I'm inside the middle of it.
Oh, I saw someone just next to it. Right.
Get away
You
from
got
me.
someone coming up on you.
You know what?
I'm coming to ice cream track. Ice cream. I'm just standing next to it now.
Yeah, it's just a scab.
Right, I killed a scav.
Okay. Oh wait, back of the truck over there. Got him.
Is that all
All right, now let's
scav?
go
Yeah.
back down here and figure out
Yeah.
what's what with this
Deal.
guy.
Just to deal with what
Yeah.
is what.
I like how that. Oh, damn! He just sniped the shit out of me. Apparently,
Awesome.
standing at the top of a hill with no cover, not a good idea.
Oh, that's such a surprise.
Why haven't they added?
I killed a level 6 over here.
Why haven't they added a what is that called? Just being able to spectate your in squad homies.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Have you played Hunt
Something-
Showdown?
No, I've watched streams of it, but lots of games. If you die, you just go to spectate your comrades.
Are you truly just a one game man?
Oh, pretty much. I just get obsessed
Name-
with one game at a time.
Name one other video game you've played.
Well, since I started Tarkov, I've played a bit of Marauders. And I played some DMZ with you. I did a good couple of weeks of DMZ back when that came out, but not a lot. I tend to lock in on one at a time. Before this was PUBG. Shit! Wow, he's snapping me as well.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
I am deceased. Yeah. I didn't know where that was coming from either. Well, there was some glory and there was some ignominy.
I did a bunch of damage to armor, a bunch to body. 22 hits. I'm happy.
You did?
Yeah.
You can hold your head up proud.
Yeah.
Aye.
If the difference between us and those guys, hacks. That's the only difference.
6. One of them was level 6. The other one, let's see, was between 11 and 30. So this counts as a win.
Oh, wait. Can these guys hear my Discord boops? Do I have Discord boops on? I'm so sorry. My Discord's just booping away.
I don't hear Discord boops.
No, I got him on, like, I don't have streamer mode enabled or whatever. I don't know how to turn that on. It usually turns itself on, and then
it turns itself on.
I get mad about it, and so I turn it off, and then now I'm like, how do I turn it back on?
Yeah.
Enable streamer mode. There you go. You guys shouldn't hear my beeps and boops. But then the purple banner's at the top, and I feel like clicking disable every time I see it.
Yeah, exactly. It's annoying.
Go get Omid.
I did enjoy my shotgun. I think I could do that again.
I'm sorry. Why is everybody talking about Omid? I'm not paying attention at all to the activity feed. Did he like raid me or something? Did he? Oh God, no, Peanut raided me with some people. I'm sorry, Peanut. I'm not looking at any of this shit. Oh no, I'm sorry.
You're for a streamer, you're a great YouTuber.
Yeah, I'm not a good stream guy. I should really pay attention to this stuff. I am so sorry. And you know what? Peanut's such a nice guy too. You feel bad missing a notification from a person like that.
Right.
Like if he was like a huge piece of shit, I'd be like, if I missed that. Sorry. Yeah. Oh well, I'm sure he'll forgive me.
Yeah, eventually.
I'll be seeing him in a couple weeks anyways. We're going to that creator clash thing.
Oh, what is that?
Hi, Sam.
It's something about like YouTubers boxing.
Oh, great.
What sucks is they actually train for it. I would really like it if they just kind of went in there fresh off the desk, you know, with their scoliosis and everything, and they have no athleticism. They're just winded by round one. That's what I want. But they've started taking it seriously because they're like, oh, people are gonna see me with my shirt off. I might as well like look good and seem like I'm putting in effort. But I don't want the effort. I want them to just, you know how guys are. You know, like you see, you know, guys are like, oh, I could take that on. You know, Tyson thinks he's a badass. I bet you I could beat him. He's only like 5'11" or something like that. He's not that big. In reality, that guy would fucking knock your head off with one punch. But
well, that's the weird thing about going to events and meeting streamers, because you just have no idea of the scale of people.
Oh yeah,
it's surprising in both directions.
Yeah, I've heard that when Critical shows up, it is like seeing a real life like fairy from mythology. You know, it's like this little tiny little man. I've heard that he comes in with his hair looks like it's long, but it's only like 6 inches. It's just his head is so small. 6 inches of hair is super long on a head that small.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see him for the first time so I can really see how small he is.
TwitchCon Vegas.
Baby, I gotta go to Vegas. Come on, I gotta go to Vegas. Yeah,
they moved it to Vegas so you would go.
Yeah, I was like, absolutely. I don't even gamble, but I know all my dumbass friends love gambling, and I love watching people lose money. There's nothing better than watching other people lose money. Are you kidding me?
That is like free entertainment.
Oh man, when Elon had to buy Twitter. Oh
yes.
Oh yeah. I could live 1,000 lifetimes and not even get the amount of money you just lost on a dumbass deal. And then Same thing with Kanye, watching him just like liquidate his money. That was oh, beautiful. God, I wish I had $1 billion. How cool that would be.
So you could piss it up against the wall like those guys.
Oh yeah, I would buy Twitter in a heartbeat. I would definitely take that deal. Are you kidding me? And I would get way more headlines than Elon gets for his shitty running. I would run that thing into the fucking ground and laugh the whole way there. Let's see. I think I'm good to go. Actually, hold on. I want to get like a red dot.
I need a red hat.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. My guy actually just looks like a normal dude.
Yeah. That's
no
not
go.
acceptable.
Yeah. Gotta get the red hat. Rag man.
I want the red backward baseball cap. What is that called? Tagilla's hat is not called Tagilla.
I hate games that do that, where they just name everything like this person's hat, you know, instead of like actually giving it like a named something.
Yeah.
Ooh, wait, I can get a little green beret. Nah, that's green. I don't think I should do that. What happened to all the pimp hats? Oh God, do I have to go to the flea market for these?
Yeah, I think you do.
Ooh, anti-fragmentation glasses. Oh wait, got to get the John B's. 37,000. Jesus Christ! I've just wore out like $100,000 worth of John B's over the last 3 raids. The hell was I doing, dude? You didn't stop me. Sam, you don't need to go that dripped out. That's way too dripped.
Sam.
Whoa, slow your roll, buddy. Can't wear
steady on the
John B's every John B's every time. All right, don't worry. The round frame glasses, the John Lennons,
the John L's.
Yeah. Sweet. Somebody else bought them. I bought literally the last pair off the flea market, dude. These are
wow.
These are big.
Collector's item.
I can't wear them out now. They're the last ones on the flea market. That's kind of good, but I do need like a head cover. I think that's really important.
Like a dude rag.
Ooh. Somebody actually sent me a full thing of. Oh, I see the boss cap. Yeah. Just like different color do-rags. And I'm like, is it offensive to wear do-rags? Like, can I wear a do-rag without getting my ass kicked? Or is that like a... is that like a soft thing that I shouldn't do? Is that insensitive to wear do-rags?
Yeah, I'm the wrong person to ask. You're asking an Australian.
Toast rack!
That's right. Just as long as you're not carrying a didgeridoo, you're fine.
Enlighten us, Toast Rack.
Yeah, tell me what's fashionable right now.
You're ethnically pretty cool. Is it all right if I wear a do-rag? Or am I going to get my ass kicked?
You're the least racist person I know. You got to tell me.
Let's see here. Okay, dude, I'm going to bring some Eagle Nick. I'm going to put it in my backpack. I'm going to put one in the chamber, dude. I got one Eagle Nick in the chamber. So
the really good stuff.
Yeah, and I'll put it on single shot and I'll fucking laser someone through the heart with it. First bullet.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready when you are.
Good.
Oh, shit. Two white guys discussing what's ethnically okay. Have you seen Napoleon Dynamite?
Oh yeah, many times.
Yeah. I love the Kip outfit. This fool.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you guys, I know you have not seen this, Toast Rack, because this is like more modern stuff. But if you guys have ever seen that, there's a music video for the song "Without You" by Spooky Black, and it is fucking awesome. It's just like this white guy that's wearing basically Kip's outfit from Napoleon Dynamite. No, it's like a white turtleneck with a chain, and then he has a white matching do-rag. It's great.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's nice.
You're allowed to wear a do-rag as a white guy if you also wear a wife beater. Okay. All right. Dude, what a squad stream that would have been if we just went live and we're both wearing do-rags and white beaters. And we just say, we finish every sentence with pimp. I'm going to go over here, pimp. All right, pimp.
Right.
Yeah. Especially since you're like the one person I would have to fight tooth and nail to put a do-rag on your head. I feel like you would be like, please do not put that on me. I do not want to be seen with a do-rag. I don't want my photo taken with a do-rag.
Just crop me out.
Yeah. You have like a very like a respectable stream over there. You have a very.
It's all I've got. It's all.
Yeah, it's all I've got. It's the only bit of respect I have in this world. Don't take it from me. Don't do rag me on stream. Oh shit. Oh. God, I keep forgetting to like push to mute. Hold on. I'm gonna go talk to my chat for a second.
Do it.
Entertain yourself.
I will call out some subs or something.
Yeah, dude. Oh shit. Yeah, I should probably do that. That's not what I was going to do.
Not to give you notes.
Yeah. Oh, I should probably do that. I'm not gonna. We're all right. No. Okay. You were asking, what song is this? This song fucking rocks. It's Andre Nicotina, Dice of Life. The instrumental of this song is insane. Bizzle showed me this song. I can't fucking stop listening to it. I've been listening to it for like a year and a half. It's just like every little playlist I make, it makes its way in there. I love this song. Oh, Winds Die of Laughter coming out? I think Bizzle should be finished on an episode like soon. Like now? But there's something about next week. I think we're recording 2 episodes and then there's some sort of tomfoolery that's happening. I forget what. But we're sliding back into a normal schedule. Okay. Oh, hey, we got the same backwards glass. I couldn't afford the bees, though. The John Bees.
Well, you got the last pair of rounds.
Wait!
So.
No, we need to go this way.
Yeah. Back it up.
Gotta go this way, man.
I know I know this really cool spot.
Yeah, I know this super cool spot. Most embarrassing shit to do as a streamer. It's one of the most annoying things that happens all the time for me. It's to the point where I just get like anxiety thinking about it. Have you ever been just talking or playing for minutes and then you realize that you just have your webcam on like full screen? Like they can't even see the gameplay.
And they can't see what you're referring to. Yeah.
And so you just look like an asshole for like 5 minutes until you see it.
Oh, I can beat that for embarrassment.
Oh, you shit your pants on stream or something, didn't you?
Early on when I was streaming, I thought raids ended your stream. So
the classic. Okay, all right. What happened, buddy?
Well, it's not the worst case scenario. I raided someone else, and then I was just chatting in their chat and watching them, and just did a massive nose pick on camera.
That's it. That's what you got. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
that was pretty bad.
You are such a normie. That's cute. A little nose pick. I've been fucking picking my nose since I came in this call, man.
Yeah, right.
No, you want to talk about embarrassment? Have you ever heard of Dark Side Phil?
No.
I think he does like speed runs or some shit. He did the exact same thing, but then he started jacking off.
Well, that's what everyone said I was doing to the other streamer, yeah.
Which was awesome. It is like one of the funniest videos I've seen. It's just him like because it's so sad too. He just kind of like leans back in his chair.
Oh, no.
It's called self-love, dude. Like put some effort into it. He's just leaning back like just finished streaming, jacking off.
Yeah, that's celebration time.
Yeah,
it's me time.
It's good. 8 hours of work. Gotta treat myself.
That's right.
Yeah.
Saving
That-
this one.
I can't think of anything horrifically embarrassing. I have seen like a couple people that have gotten in like fights with their spouses and stuff on stream, which is like,
oh yeah.
it's like, dude, if you even get like a hint of like there's gonna be conflict, you turn that shit off. But people that stream for a living, it's like they just broadcast their life, which is weird. It's like there's people that like post everything about their kids on Facebook and stuff. It's like, you know, you should have at least some private life.
Well, I learned that from working on reality TV shows. Is that when you first have a camera crew following you, you are so self-conscious and you're on your best behavior. But after a week, that completely goes away.
Yeah.
And it's like they're not there. And that's when you get all the footage that goes to air. That first week of footage in the trash.
Is it? Oh wait, like so, like the first season, like not the first season, but like that first week, is it just less usable than?
It's just less usable, yeah. That's right.
Wait, so if you're a TV, you were an editor, right? You're actually just cutting and splicing, doing. Why'd you immediately gravitate to streaming? I figured YouTube would be up your alley. You must be very efficient at editing, right?
Because I'm sick of editing and I'm taking a vacation from editing. Why would I want to go?
Oh, okay, yeah.
In fact, even as a streamer, I should be spending half my day editing highlights and reusing my amazing content and banter. But I just
did you not see the Power Mag?
I did not see the Power Mag. Well, that's all yours. Was that a big Saiga Mag?
Yeah.
That's probably an expensive item.
Yeah, they're worth like $50K, but I don't know where the hell to put it. I honestly do not have room for this thing. Can you? Do you have room?
Of course I covered it.
Yeah. Come pick that thing up.
Oh, that one, yeah. Nice. Are you getting killed? Yeah, wow.
Sorry.
Is that a player?
Nah, it's a sniper scav or something.
Oh, the sniper scav is going for you, right? Yeah. I'll just use my shotgun.
Yeah, he kind of freaked me up, to be honest. All right, I'm going across to the GPU room. Are you downstairs?
Yeah, I'm downstairs.
Oh, you give me a frighten.
Yeah. Oh, but I changed outfits too.
Jesus!
What?
God, it's a sniper scav's like...
He has really got it in for you.
Yeah. All right, now you run up there and open that door and I'll follow you.
He doesn't care about me. Oh, up here?
Yeah.
Sure.
And I'm coming up.
Where is he? Is he laying down or something? On the roof?
I think he might be, I'm just trying to see if there's GPUs in here is all I want.
Yeah, you need to do that.
Is that Pestily's dad? Yeah, that's Toast Rack.
Pestily's dad.
Yeah.
People are equally split between, wait, are you Pestily's dad? And then they wait, you're not Pestily's dad? And I get equal number of each.
Tell Brian to stop beating his wife and start beating his meat so he can finally bring some creativity to the DND podcast, PLS.
Oh, yeah.
I'll make sure to tell him that, yeah.
I do not have the gun for this.
Oh wait, I do. I could have been helping that whole time. He keeps shooting at me though. I'm
he's
scared.
laying on the right edge. He's laying sort of off the right edge of the roof, which is crazy.
Do you have a gun that can take a flashlight right now?
Yeah.
I have like an extra flashlight if you want it. It's called a Boulder Pro.
Oh, they're great, those flashlights.
Yeah. This concerns me that you only play one game, dude. Very concerning.
Oh, really? Well,
yeah, that bothers me.
Yeah. No, I'm kind of obsessive.
Is he on the left side or?
He's laying on the right corner, like dangling off the right corner, prone, and he's shooting at me.
Oh, yeah, I can't get him. That guy hurts.
No, I think why did you close that door? Open that door so we can run away.
No, because like people just run in here. I want to at least.
That's true. Yeah.
What is somebody gonna like Kobe a grenade up through one of these little windows? That would be awesome if they did. To be honest.
I would like to see that.
Yeah. Okay. I don't have like the right red dot for this. I have like the worst red dot in the game. What I am gonna do though is I'm gonna pop an ibuprofen.
Oh, they're telling me my other mag would do this.
And I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna close the distance between me and this guy. And and I'm gonna shoot him right in the dick. Be right back, Chief.
Oh, I think I may have killed him. Yes, chat was right.
Yeah, he's
Chat
gone. I'm out front, by
had
the way.
goods. Right. Well, you have nothing to worry about now. I think he fell off the roof too.
He did. I did not see his body.
At the front, like on the street.
Oh my! I've just realized how much I have to pee. It's
Adult
hit me.
diapers.
Yeah.
Right, I hear you running, I guess. Are you in
Is this-
the like blue cylinders?
I was. I'm about to pass through the gate over here where Sniper Scav was, where he fell.
Yeah, pass water through the gate.
There we go. He had an AK with like a little shitty scope on it. That's what he was
No
destroying
way.
us with.
No way.
Yeah. I couldn't have hit anything with that even if he paid me money. All right. Let me go in here for a second. And I'm gonna... Yo, we should find like a crazy safe spot where like I might be able to leave for 30 seconds to go pee. Whoa! I found like an awesome... Oh, 4 star slugs? Aren't those rare?
I
For
don't
the...
remember which ones are the good
Those are
ones.
the ones that blind you.
For the KS-23.
Yeah. I'm taking those. KS-23 is a badass gun.
Yeah, that'll be the next gun.
And then there's also a Razor HD Gen 2 30mm rifle scope.
Yeah, you
Vortex
lost me.
Razor? Is that I don't know. That
Oh yeah, no,
seems
that's
like
a
it's
good. That's a good scope. That's a good scope. You
Oh,
need a backpack.
Yeah, I kind of do, don't I? I got this, dude.
All right, I'll protect.
No. I know the perfect place for peeing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have a pissing and shitting corner. Come over here with me.
Oh nice.
I'll bring you to the
Fantastic.
pissing. Oh wait, there's a guy right there. I think I legged him on the last hit.
Yeah, I did not.
No, I don't see no blood or nothing. That guy's alive.
Teamwork.
Makes the dream work. Look at that, a little tea bag.
Oh, there you go. You're all set.
Yeah, and a balaclava, so I look even more like a scav. And he had oat flakes. Best of both worlds. And he had a
It's the
key.
The dream date.
Yeah, a police truck cabin key. Is that worth anything?
Okay, that's a lighthouse key. It's not too fancy.
Lighthouse. Oh, I forgot about Lighthouse. I haven't played that map in forever. Is that like
Yeah.
a hacker haven or is it a good ass
I
map?
don't think it's that bad. It's not as snipey as it used to be.
That's good. 'Cause I almost exclusively played that map last.
Yeah,
Last
it was
wave.
fun. Yeah.
All right, I'm by the portable cabin, and I'm gonna go into the button building.
Yep.
I don't know where you are.
Yeah, I'm on my way.
The problem is, all I have is like my personal callouts for me and my friends for this map, for any
Yeah.
map.
Yeah.
And so if I just say the words that would convey where I am to them, you're gonna be like, what the fuck?
Well, it's sufficiently descriptive.
Yeah. No. What we call that building that you were just in.
Yeah.
I have a friend Fungal Toe that he
Uh-huh.
he just loved going in there, and so we just because there's a big crate in there, so we call it Fungal Crate. And if I would have said you're at Fungal
course.
Crate, you would be like, what the fuck? Are you on drugs? What's wrong with you?
Yeah,
It's the worst goddamn call out. They're not good. I didn't say they were good.
Yeah,
They're effective though. We know. Yeah, you know.
There.
It's not even that. It's not even funny to us. It's just effective. We know exactly where each other is.
Yeah, it's a moment in time.
Yeah. Has this already been looted?
The power is already on, so maybe yes.
What? Wait, are you telling me my pissing and shitting place has people have been here?
It's been compromised.
Yeah, it's been compromised. I'm still gonna pee here. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
All right, Sam's channel. What can I say? What can we talk about? Are there any controversies we can bring up? Do we have a timer? What are the odds he's going to wash his hands before he comes back? I think if PewDiePie's channel is in any way successful, we're going to have a continuous Sam video stream on Twitch any day now. Something to look forward to. And it'll have more viewers than my channel.
So is TV editing?
Yeah.
Is it? I feel like you don't get a lot of artistic liberties as an editor for TV editing. I feel like it's very formulaic. Are you able to like? Do you wish you kind of had a little bit more freedom in that job?
So compared to YouTube, so you work together with a writer.
Yeah.
So like a show like MythBusters, they have the stories are come up with by researchers, then handed to a producer, and then the talent shows up on the day and you know pretends it was all their idea and all that sort of stuff, and then they shoot stuff, and then all
God, I wish I could run a YouTube channel like that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. And you know, when Adam says, "Oh, Jamie, I've always wanted to try out blah," it's like a researcher came up with the idea that we should try out blah, and then we got all the footage. So a writer watches all the raw footage and does a first cull of what scenes should stay in or out, and then starts writing a voiceover script. And so a sort of writer starts. And a writer is in charge of every word you hear spoken, dialogue or voiceover. And then the editor is in charge of every picture you see. It kind of works that way. And you work together. You work separately sometimes and together sometimes. But it's sort of a duo. And it's quite a nice duo. I worked with an amazing Emmy Award-winning writer who was really funny and this just great storyteller guy. Every morning he'd come into the office and he'd have some story about some drama that happened that morning on the way to work, and it was a great anecdote. He was just like one of those sort of spent 20 years in a pub in England telling stories sort of guys.
Oh, yeah.
So he could spin a yarn and he could turn a boring thing into an interesting thing, and then the editor anything that's non-verbal, like building something or arriving somewhere or taking a journey somewhere or that sort of stuff, you'd sort of have free reign.
Huh.
So you felt like so a show has about 1,000 edits in it for an hour of TV, and because a shot's like 3 to 10 seconds, and
that's pretty long compared to like a movie, right?
Well, a movie's 90 minutes, but probably has twice the number of edits, but it's similar. You get a lot more time to work on a movie than TV just because of budget. But almost every shot you choose and almost every edit you make stays in the show. And some of them you get notes and you have to change them. And some of those you disagree with, but it's kind of fine. You still feel like it's your show. And your edit stayed. So it's generally you feel like an editor.
That's pretty good. Whoa, I'm getting shot from who knows where. Oh, sniper scav up top.
Snipers. Oh man.
And then there's one in here that I'm gonna go bust. Oh fuck, he got me. He winged me as I went in. I knew. Oh my god! I got a misfire, whatever. My casing jam. I got jam.
I gotcha.
There we go. Yeah, we're good. All right, I'm coming back in. I'm killing the first person I see.
The jams are terrible.
Yeah, I turned the corner and it just immediately went click. But now I'm going to do what I was born to do. I'm going to tear this guy's mustache off and glue it onto my lip. It's like a much less sinister, like Hannibal Lecter. What if, like, instead of taking that guy's entire face, he just cut off his mustache and put it on him?
Yes. It's macabre, isn't it?
Yeah. That would be a much less cool scene in Silence of the Lambs. They were just like, oh my god, he's got some sort of mustache trauma, and then it just shows Hannibal Lecter's Anthony Hopkins sits up in the back of the ambulance and then takes off just the mustache.
Yeah.
He just takes off the mustache and wipes his lip with a napkin.
Wait, so he's making a skin suit out of just mustaches?
Yeah,
it'd take a lot longer.
Oh yeah, yeah. He takes out 20 cops and takes off all their mustaches and creates an entire face head mask thing. All right, I'm just packing a mag. Yeah, I'm.
Oh yeah, okay.
It might look like I'm sitting here like an idiot, but there's things happening behind the scenes. Don't worry.
There's a lot going on upstairs. I'm planning.
Yeah, planning, packing mags. It's like playing like randomly, like just Lana Del Rey or some shit. What the hell? I did not ask for this. This song's kind of cool though. I'll take it. All right, yeah, I'm back to business.
Someone else may have taken that sniper scout.
Whoa, Jesus!
Whoa.
That was from which way? Let me hit you to pull up my compass. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was this way. I don't know. Towards the 5.
Compasses out. Yeah.
I don't have a compass. I couldn't figure out what my button was for it.
Here, I'll drop my compass. You pick it up.
Yeah.
And then...
Here we go. It is 340. That's where I got shot from. Wait. Oh, wait. Isn't north?
340?
Wait. No, that doesn't make sense. It's this which way? Fucking 12 o'clock. I don't know. The way I'm pointing. How do you tell the things?
Yeah, the red one's north, and the N and the S look identical, but the red one's north.
Okay, red, and then I'm supposed to be able to read the number, and I can't read the...
Yeah, and then in the bottom right corner of your screen is the number.
Oh, 150... Okay, I see. Okay, 145. Yeah, 145. That's where he is.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we sorted that out.
Yeah. He's probably still there. It's been so long. He's probably, like, behind us or something by now.
Well, it's probably Sniper Scout, right?
Oh, is it still him? Yep, it's still him.
I think so.
Yeah, he's shooting at me.
He hates you.
Both all the sniper scavs really just have a disdain for me. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. He's prone too. It's kind of a difficult shot. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
We're gonna have to make
down to that heavy earth-moving vehicle.
Not if I run there first. Oh shit, he can still see us.
Yeah. Underneath.
God, there's no way of getting away from him! He can see us regardless of where we are.
Safety in numbers.
Yeah. Wait, we turned on the thing, didn't we?
Yes.
Hell yes. Hell yes. They've already opened it. All right. Should we empty this place first, or wait? I'm kind of full, and we haven't had success yet. And the chat said if you succeed, everybody in chat is gonna pay you $100. We're all gonna donate $100. That's what they all told me. We did a gentleman's agreement before we started this. You probably should do one of those with your chat. All right, guys, everybody, $100, pay up. Daddy's got to buy an Eames lounge chair. Everybody, come on, pay up.
Daddy needs a new box of diapers.
Yeah. Oh. I actually thought it would be funny if I got a like a toilet and put like wheels under it. Not like I've seen one of those like recliners that then have like a toilet bowl in it, but I mean like just a legit toilet and get a padded seat and then yeah, put some casters under it or something, and that would be just like my, I don't know, I'd use it for podcasts or something.
You see those in antique stores, commodes, because they would.
You
would have a bedpan, because when your toilet was out in the backyard, you wouldn't want to go out in the snow in the middle of the night, so you'd have a dish underneath the bed that you'd pee in.
Oh, like a
but
casserole
if you were
dish?
fancy, but if you were fancy, you'd have that hidden in a disguised chair, which had a wooden lid underneath a cushion, and that's called a commode. So it's basically already been made. Yeah, the chamber pot was the bowl under the bed, but a commode is a chamber pot disguised in a chair. So it's just an early prototype gamer chair.
My brother, when he first moved out, he had this giant bowl that him and his roommates would fight over because it could hold so much cereal, and they loved it.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And
in a student shared house, that would be the coveted object.
Yeah, and because you can fit like almost a box of cereal in this thing and fill it up with milk. And they would fight over it, and then like one of their girlfriends came over and was like, saw someone eating out of it, and they're like, "Are you eating out of a bedpan?" It was like a hospital bedpan, and they're like, "A what?" Because they didn't know what the hell it was. They'd been fucking eating out of a shit bucket that was in the house when they moved in. Like it was just like in the house. It was
used.
It was a used bedpan.
Died in the house. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, dudes rock. Only guys could be that fucking stupid. And then like it's still like they just kind of like laughed about it. Like I don't think they actually cared a whole lot. Like what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Like tear your hair out over that? Damage is done. I've been eating out of a shit bucket. I don't care. I would frantically try to remember if I was the first person to eat out of it. But once it's been through the dishwasher once, I think you're pretty much good to go.
Oh yeah. That's golden.
Yeah. Don't forget to feed and water your guy. He's probably pretty hungry right about now.
Look at that. Yeah, he's hangry.
Yeah.
Have you ever eaten the sausage in Raid and seen the animation?
I actually have some sausage, and I'm gonna bring it for.
Look, yeah, I'll bring. Let's just have a sausage party because we really need
two classy guys. Two classy guys at a sausage party.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring my sausage, and I'm gonna bring a nice little ice cream with tea. Tea and sausage.
That's such a good pairing. Yeah.
Yeah. Like cheese and wine.
A water to wash that down with.
I didn't know you were a TV editor. That's wild.
Yeah, that was my last job. This is my fourth career.
Really? How long were you doing the editing for?
Since about 2003. So I did it 10 years, 15 years. Until COVID, and then TV shut down in Australia for 4 months. There's just no work, and I was at home playing Tarkov on my fancy editing rig.
Back up. They sent everybody home, and they said, "Please don't kill your spouse. You're gonna have to live with them in quarantine, and we're also gonna turn off the TV. Yeah, we're also gonna turn off the one source of escapism you have." In your house,
the broadcasting continued, but they
just did reruns.
TV,
okay.
They had plenty in the can, but they and also they kept doing the news and stuff like that, but they stopped making scripted and unscripted shows.
Oh, okay. Yeah, news, of course. That's the important stuff.
Oh, that's the important stuff. Yeah.
What about Seinfeld? What about all the other stuff? What about the giggles?
Yeah, exactly. I was working on Dancing with the Stars, Australian version of that.
Oh, nice.
At the time, which actually had one of the first COVID cases in Australia, because remember Tom Hanks was one of the first people to have COVID in the States.
Yeah,
He got it in Australia where they were shooting the Elvis movie, and he gave it to Richard Wilkins, who is a entertainment reporter, and his son was on the show I was working on. So we were all like, our door handles were sprayed every hour, and we all were given masks and told how to wear them, and all the catering was
On your
moved
face.
outdoors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all that was really foreign at the time.
Oh yeah.
And it was scary stuff. Scary stuff. And then we all went home.
Yeah, I was actually right when COVID broke out and people started getting like the masks and everything. I was like, oh, finally, this is gonna be like America's step forward, because like in Japan, if you have like the sniffles or whatever, as like an act of courtesy, you'll wear a mask because you're like, I don't want to be an asshole and get other people sick, right? Yeah, and I was like, maybe this will be the turning point for America, because people are just like, oh, I went to work with the flu. I'm a hard worker. It's like, fuck you. Like, don't show up to work, asshole, or at least wear a mask. But then very quickly it got like politicized in the U.S. where if you like wore a mask or whatever, you were a commie or something. I was like, I just kind of don't want to get sick. Honestly, I don't care if COVID's here or not. If you got the sniffles or whatever, you fucking mask up.
Well, I loved how there was a TV show that came true that was Counterpart. Did you ever see Counterpart?
No.
It was on cable. It was set in near future or something like that. But someone had discovered a doorway wormhole which went to a parallel universe that separated in the 80s from us, and it diverged. Different things happened. Oh, and
alternate future type thing.
Yeah, that's right. And so in the Counterpart world, there was a big flu pandemic in the 90s, which killed like 5% of the world population. And so they never developed the smartphone or anything like that, because all their technology was going into medical advances. So they had amazing medicine, and they all had social distancing, and at every traffic light and street corner there were hand cleansing units, and nobody shook hands anymore, and they thought people from our side were freaks for shaking hands and hugging and stuff. And basically we're now in that other universe.
Yeah, I don't like that part so much because I'm a real handsy person. I molest whoever I'm socializing with, but the whole mask thing, like I could get on board with that. And I also kind of like just being socially disconnected. When you have a mask on, like I don't have to. People get so goddamn chatty here, like cashiers and stuff. They're like, "Oh, like tell me about your fucking life." It's like, dude, I'm just here to buy this rope and duct tape and a knife or whatever. Don't fucking talk to me. All right? Don't ask me what I'm doing with it.
And shovel.
Yeah, I'm just buying a shovel. Several duffel bags, multiple duffel bags, 50-pound bag of lye or whatever serial killers use to break down bodies in their basement. Yeah, don't ask me what all this stuff's for or whatever. I got a mask on. You don't need to talk to me.
Not here for a chat.
Yeah. I should get one of those medical masks, or not even a medical mask, but like a face shield that's just like mirrored. So it's like, you know how like imposing and like state troopers and stuff will wear mirrored aviators, because you look at them and you don't even get to see their goddamn eyeballs. You just see yourself scared shitless in their sunglasses, and it's horrifying. But imagine looking at someone, they have like a Daft Punk mirrored mask on, so you get nothing. You get nothing to a motorcycle. I should just wear a motorcycle helmet with the visor down.
Oh yeah,
no idea what the hell's going on.
It just poses a motorcycle career.
Yeah.
Okay, we're eating.
And then they'll see me walk out to the parking lot and get my Honda Civic and drive away, and they'll be like, "That guy doesn't even own a motorcycle. He just wears the helmet, so he didn't have to talk to me."
Now we have a sausage party to have here.
Oh, we got to eat them now? My tummy's full. I ate soury. All right, fine.
I stayed hungry.
Okay. Oh, okay. Let's do it. Let's let it rip. Oh.
Can you back off a little?
Yeah. Oh. Get uncomfortably close while we're eating our sausages together. Those look like little nasty, like, what are those called? Kielbasa's or whatever? Kielbasa sausages?
The sound is just so nasty. It's like it's got that plastic wrap on the outside which you're meant to peel off, but he's just biting right
Oh,
through
he's
it.
just going for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, should we try it? It worked last time, sort of.
It went so well.
It did.
I mean, it's not always going to be a 3-man.
I think I'm gonna do it
Yeah.
because I had such an insanely good spot that.
Which one? Are you further up towards the bridge?
Yeah,
I'm down
I'm
lower. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
next time
I'm
I
down
won't
low.
be-
I'm just in a bush where I
Okay.
can
Yeah.
see.
I was in a bush behind a rock, and half my shots went into the rock. So, lesson learned on that one.
I'm in a bush where like my tunnel through the leaves, they can only see me
Yeah.
once they're basically halfway across and they're on the
Yeah.
little island, you know.
They're committed.
Yeah, they're committed at that point. That's when I got them with the pants down, man. I got them.
I'm sure I've seen Exfil camper sitting on that island or like in the water next to that island camping the smuggler's boat.
Oh yeah, that he's a goddamn. It's like a demon at this game. It's so annoying to be killed by. I still love that clip. It's like from the first time I met him. Not even that long after I met him, but he has this this clip. I love it when he kills a streamer and then he can go see the highlight from him killing them.
Yes,
and he basically gets the streamer, like you could tell he's about to cry. He's like 1 second from crying. Like, dude, do not be that emotionally invested in a video game.
It takes a special sort of streamer to just be able to sit for a half hour in one spot.
He's like doing homework
hoping.
and shit. Like he's a student. He's doing finals and stuff. He's sitting back. He's like a normal guy. Like
He's not studying while he's camping, surely.
That's
He's
how it
talking
started.
shit. Yeah, okay.
That's how it started. Was he expo camps and then he sits there and works on his homework or whatever because I get the feeling he's gonna be one of the few guys that are colleagues that they then go off to do actual successful things. Like the rest of these guys are just gonna end up like
He'll
me
fly
one
to
day.
the moon, and we're still like trying to make YouTube videos.
Yeah, he's gonna have some goddamn cushy job with a corner office, probably like hot secretary or something. He'll be like, hey, "Oh, Sam, remember those good old days when we used to do dumb shit on the internet? What are you doing nowadays?" And I'll be like, "Oh, never."
What's that shot behind us?
That wasn't behind us.
Yeah.
That was it?
Yeah, I think up at Ice Cream Shack or a bit further.
Yo, I don't want to be this guy, but I'm pretty sure I heard somebody up on the bridge.
Yeah.
I'm gonna jack up the sound a little bit. Never mind, I'm crazy. It was a very far shot, and it sounded like a crunch of a foot.
Yeah, those can sound too similar.
Yeah.
I know they're new headphones. You got them on the right way around, right? The cord's dangling on your left.
Yeah. They say it says L on the left side.
Ow. You need that. You need that. So no lag this time. We had mad lag. Remember, you would all the bullets would hit you all at once in DMZ when we were playing together.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah, actually, I was just going over Warzone clips.
I
think like yesterday because I never made a Warzone video.
Yeah,
and
right.
I have a bunch of clips from Warzone, and I was like looking at clips from when we played, and
yeah. Oh, cool.
I forgot all about the
That was
the lag.
We must have
issues.
played like a first or second play of the game because we didn't even know what we were doing.
No, we didn't. No. DMZ
Which is
was
all the better.
not that. I really do like the battle royale version, the like regular Warzone. I think
Right.
it's genuinely a lot of fun. All right, motherfuckers like grenading near us. What?
I know. That would be Stronghold.
No. I heard gravel crackling. That's not that far away, is it? I think we should
Gravel
move.
Crackling, but that grenade I was thinking was Stronghold.
There's no way. I'm leaving this area. What do you?
Yeah.
Define stronghold. What do you consider stronghold?
Oh, Stronghold. Where we went. With the grenade launcher on the second floor.
Oh no. What I'm saying is when I say crackling, I mean like I heard the explosion.
Whoa! I'm getting shot. I don't know where from.
I don't either. I'm gonna go with you back there. That looks like fun.
I'm running downhill.
Oh! He clicked me right in the ear.
Yeah.
Got me.
He killed you?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Head ear. Oh, actually, me and my PMC are kind of like one and the same because before even you got killed
too.
Okay, hacker. Cheat use. He's getting a hacker report. Okay, so now that you are just 100% on one game.
Yeah.
and the whole like the hack, because personally for me, I love all games. I'll play almost anything as long as my homies are playing. I can have fun playing almost anything.
Right.
And when that guy made the wiggle video, showing the prevalence of hackers, and there's been some people calling into question how biased that was. Not biased, but like how good his maths were, you know. But even so, I mean, like there seemed to be pretty prevalent, them hacker boys. They seem to be everywhere. That sapped any and all desire to like play the game for me in any like meaningful way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You know how exaggerated memes are, though. Like my experience was, I saw the occasional cheater. I'd see one or two a stream, and it's just another death. I'm used to dying a lot in this game. It's part of the game, so it didn't really change my experience very much.
It didn't affect you a whole lot?
I suspect it. Now, other Aussie streamers said it was way better. It was way worse late at night, and I streamed during the day, so maybe I was in the time that didn't matter, but. Or Australian servers maybe the worst. Maybe there was some. I mean, some people said Australian servers were worse. So I don't know. It didn't change my experience much. I think also if a cheater took a look at the gear I was wearing, they'd just go, you know what, I'm not going to bother.
Yeah,
because I wouldn't be
my problem
out
isn't
with a Slick and an Alton. You know,
it's the ones that fly under the radar by not having like aimbot and stuff. I feel like for every person that has aimbot, there's like 5 people that can just see through walls. You know what I mean? Like ESP or whatever that is.
Yeah, it wasn't my experience.
Yeah, but how do you know? Is my point.
Oh, it's really obvious when you die to a cheater. It's like head, eyes, first shot.
No, that's someone with aimbot. I'm talking about a guy that just can see through walls.
Oh, okay, right.
And so he just goes like
deliberately shoot bad to cover their tracks.
Not shoot bad, but they just, you know, they have normal aiming and stuff, but they just know where you are. I wonder how prevalent that is.
Yeah. I don't know. My death ratio didn't seem to change very much in that period, and my suspicious deaths didn't seem to go up very much. And yeah, I thought it was. It didn't it didn't put me off.
Really? My exit camping and stuff, or like ratting especially, it's been affected heavily because I feel like there's just way too many instances where I'll just be dead quiet and I haven't moved and I'll just be crouched and people will just fucking pre-fire a corner. And I'm like, you missed 7 shots before you, and we ended up hitting each other, but it's just like, this motherfucker shouldn't have known I was there. You know, I should have gotten him with his pants down.
Right. Yeah, I just didn't have many of those sorts of experiences. And I still don't. And I don't hear like people say, "Oh, well, wait till you come to the States." It's like, crazy here.
No, this is not the mecca of cheating. I can assure you. This is you play on those European servers, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's where you find them. I feel like. It's the Eastern Europeans, dude. I don't know why they just love hacking in games.
Yeah. All
right. We were gonna play a different map.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Like streets, bit of streets action. Or did you have a hankering for Lighthouse?
I have a Keter. I'll let you decide where we go with it. Because it's on me. It's repaired. It has a silencer. But that's what I'm bringing. Yeah, I just repaired it.
Oh, yeah.
90. Big amount. 90 out of 100 on this, durability-wise. So I'm ready. Wherever you...
That feels like an interchange kind of piece of equipment.
Interchange, let's do it.
I need to kill Killer and get his masks for quests, so that we got a goal.
Jesus Christ. Killer? All right. Yeah, let's go. I kill him all the time. Let's do it. Me and Killer? That guy's a pussy.
If we bang him, it's big.
You're going to go kill the guy named Killer? Okay, yeah, I'm sure he'll be a pushover. Let's go. Let's fucking do it.
Although what I see a lot of now is I hear a lot of flashbangs all through the mall, and that's people looking for Killer, waiting for him to voice line back.
Oh, if you throw a flashbang, does he say something?
Yeah, and he has a distinctive voice as of recent change, I think. So we can just chase those people. Okay. Change keys. I
tried that with my friend, and we ran into 6 other guys doing the exact same thing. All right, I'm bringing flash grenades so I can fit in with the cool kids.
Yeah, that's right.
My flash grenades. My flashbangs are actually going to have fragmentation into them, so they're extra cool.
Special flashbangs.
Yeah. I'll say, I got this one covered, guys. Let me throw the next one. Yeah. This one actually blows up on impact. RGN hand grenade. I'm gonna bring that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
All right, I'm ready. Wait. Oh yeah, we ate sausage. We're good. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm getting a baddie red beard, so you'll be able to recognize me. Oh yeah.
Thoughts on Trump indictment? Oh yeah, he got indicted.
Well, that's what I was saying. The most famous Floridian's got himself in a pickle again.
Oh yeah, I thought you were talking about me. I forgot. Yeah, he's not from Florida though. He's Mr. New York. He has a house down here because of the taxes. There's no income tax.
No one's from Florida.
I was born and raised here. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Some people, the elite, they come down here and they move down to Palm Beach. That's where Trump has I think Trump's place is in Palm Beach, Mar-a-Lago, and then near Palm Beach. And then
I thought a native Floridian accent would be a little thicker. You've been gentrified.
Now I grew up on
elocution school.
I grew up on the internet.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I have a very distinctive non-regional dialect. You listen to him and you go, yeah. This guy is fucking American. That's about it. That's all I know. I don't know where he's from. He's just obviously from America. Now I just decided I didn't want to sound like my mom.
Can you do her accent?
Hey y'all, how you doing? Yeah, my wife sounds the same way. She's got a southern accent. She's a little southern belle. Hey, what are you talking about over there, right there? But I don't fuck with that. I want people to think I'm not dumb as shit. Any Southerners in chat? Fuck you. Right? You guys sound all stupid. Okay, I'm sorry. If my wife can hear me upstairs, I'm sorry. Okay. I think the bulk of the world hears that accent and goes like, "Oh, here we go. We're about to hear some dumb shit right now." Matching aborted. What happened?
I chose the wrong map, and it was actually chat that told me. This is something that happens when you're 56 years old. You like pretty much every stream I do one raid to the wrong map. And I don't know why. I don't know why it happens. Yeah. It's just one of those things. It's like Where are my keys?
You know what? You don't have to explain shit to me, all right? I've been sitting for a long time going like, dude, I don't see you. And like my friend will be on Scav and I'll be on PMC and we'll be on the same map at the same time looking for each other. And then like 20 minutes will go by and we'll be like, oh, we're like doing the wrong thing.
Yeah. This time for sure.
This absolutely blows my mind. I was gonna once again make a reference to a different game where something similar happened, but you don't play anything else. You're just a Tarkov guy. What was one other game you played before Tarkov? Like what was
Tarkov?
Yeah.
Well, I told you. But I played PUBG nonstop for 2 years. I played before that Arma 3 Battle Royale for 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
I don't know. Before that, I had an Xbox 360. I played Ghost Recon series. Like every Ghost Recon that came out, I was on that. I played that competitively. I was really into like Siege, which is kind of a half-hour slow burn, big maps, attack and defend, with teams of like 3 or 6 or something.
Yeah.
But that kind of game. But I did like puzzle games like Portal. I played that Strays, where you're a cat going on an adventure.
Okay.
I played 12 minutes.
So military sim and then Alley Cat. Those are your two your two
like
genres.
Adventure puzzle. Like because the first game I ever played was the original command line adventure on a mainframe. It's now called Colossal Cave or something like that. So text adventures is where I started. And my dad and I wrote text adventures in BASIC on home computers in the 80s and sold them internationally.
What?
So that's where I started.
Text adventure. Oh, like the okay. Yeah.
Go
I know
north.
yeah.
Look. You're in a maze of twisty little passages. A demon appears. He's holding a wand. Stuff like that.
You ever read that book Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card?
Yeah. I don't know if I've seen. I watched the movie, I think.
Oh, that's not good.
No.
I don't think it does the book justice. I'm just gonna say that people haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anybody talk about the movie since it came out, so I'm assuming it did not do the book justice.
Right.
The book was huge for me as a kid growing up, but there's a game that he plays that's kind of it's kind of a text adventure, but in the future. Okay. And I wonder if, once again, to circle back to this whole AI thing, I wonder if like AI could bring back that kind of genre, but in a more like the game just goes on indefinitely. There's not so much like a linear series of paths to choose, but true freedom. It's just like, I want to go over here. What's this generated. Which way? And then it generates. What's going on over there?
Yeah.
Oh, the future's bright, man. Actually, the future is horrific. I don't know if I want to go into it. I kind of want to freeze frame like right now.
Yeah. Well, my one of the 2 cousins I'm here visiting works in AI and is across it all, and he's saying like each day, each week, there's massive things being unveiled that have been worked on in secret for the last few years, and it's a real gold rush sort of moment at the moment where everyone's sort of unveiling. One company unveiled their secret project, and so now everyone else is unveiling their secret project they've been working on for years, and it's all sort of coming out like this month, and so it feels like a massive leap forward. But this is all stuff that Google and all these guys have been working on in secret for a while, and so it's an interesting time, and we're sort of still working out what it's good for, and they're still working out what it's good for.
Yeah, I can assure you that I have a friend that's kind of an idealist, and he seems to think that AI will usher in a world of kind of like Star Trek. We're going to end up all post-capitalism. I don't even know the word for that. Like post,
right. like a utopia.
Post troubles. Yeah. We're in the world of the robots will do everything for us, and we'll lay back getting our dick sucked on by robots and stuff. And
that's
be like
Brave
Wall-E.
New World. Yeah, that's right. There are a lot of those predictions in the 50s.
Yeah,
because they had big technology boom in the 50s. like
a
basically
post-scarcity
white goods.
society is what someone
Yeah.
said. Post-scarcity.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's got everything. And I feel like, no, I think the AI is just going to replace a lot of like the average person's job. And then there's just going to be a lot of poor people. You ever seen that movie
That's right, because
Elysium?
I've seen that. But in the utopias
kind of
of the
world.
50s, the robots do all the work and generate all the income, and that goes to the government, and then they pay everyone a living wage just to sit at home. However, in the actual world, all the robots will be owned by corporations. They'll keep all the money, and all the unemployed people can go fuck themselves.
Yep. That is,
and then the revolution comes, where we go kill all the billionaires.
I was gonna say, there has to be some sort of incredible amount of violence in between what we have now and
then
what's going to happen.
The French Revolution, exactly.
Yeah. Oh God, I want to be like if we ever have a revolution, I want to be kind of like a Robespierre figure, but not get beheaded by the end. I want to live through it. But leading a revolution seems like in pointing fingers at people and going like, kill that guy, like off of no evidence or whatever. Yeah, that would be awesome.
His clothes are too nice.
Yeah, I don't like that guy. That guy pissed me off 4 years ago. I want him gone.
It sounds like Purge.
Yeah, basically. Have you seen that movie, The Death of Stalin?
No.
Oh, dude, you should watch that movie. It's great. It's like a kind of accurate retelling of what happened immediately after Stalin dies, and there's like this insane grab for power from like all of his little underlings, but it's played by just like British actors, and they make no attempt at like doing accents, Russian accents or anything. So it's just very witty, like British, dialogue. It's the dialogue, and it's great. It's just like constant back and forths. And Steve Buscemi's in it actually, but there's a guy in it. Yeah, one of the greatest British actors. Yeah,
he does.
Realize he's
American
like the one
accent.
person that doesn't have a British accent or anything in that movie. Everybody's just doing their own thing, but most of the people are British.
He plays Nikita Khrushchev. Okay.
Yeah, he does. But there's a guy that plays Beria, and Beria is like the main bad guy there, and he basically has like he's like the Robespierre of the Soviets. He was the guy that always came up with lists and was like, kill these fucking people, kill everybody on this list. He would have his little kill lists every day.
Nice.
Actually, yeah, but he met a horrible end too. How do you be the great inquisitor, but without you yourself being inquisited?
Ending up on a spike.
Yeah. How do you do that? And they never take him out in a fast and easy way too. It's always something horrific.
Some people get exiled, like they get out the day before the spike is coming. They have word, and then they just spend their days.
I think
on
Napoleon
an island somewhere.
Yeah, Napoleon ended up on an island. He got banished.
I think he was sent there though. I think he was captured and sent there or something.
Yeah,
like that.
But the walls of his palace or whatever on the island, they had arsenic in them or something. They put a lot of arsenic in the wallpaper for some reason or something.
Okay.
And it led to his death, I believe.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
Because he was licking the walls.
Yeah, I think he was eating the wallpaper. I don't know why.
Of course he was.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is not good.
It seems like
that's like the mercury
for
in
that
hats.
guy.
Everyone wore hats, and they all had mercury in them. It's great. Apply it straight to the brain.
Yeah. I wonder, like, there's just not as much like statistics and stuff, I guess, back then, or like information back then. But I wonder how much that affected people, like having mercury and hats and stuff. Like, because they say leaded gas really messed up an entire generation.
Insignificance compared to dysentery and tuberculosis and stuff, which most people died of. Because if you got it, you just died because no one knew what a bacterium was or what an antibiotic was. So I think most people shat themselves to death, and the mercury buildup. That's a problem for later.
Yeah.
Or the tobacco smoke or whatever.
Oh, I'm sorry. Some guy came in with little factoids here. The arsenic made a more vibrant green than anything else at the time, and so they would use it for green wallpaper.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, because back then a new color had to be, if someone found an insect in Africa that was a new color, and then that would be all the rage. Like you couldn't just make colors like we can now. They're sort of discovered like spices from far away.
Oh yeah, like that's why like purple was the color of royalty.
Yes.
Purple was very hard to.
It was
to
really
naturally
expensive because
make.
it was far away. Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah, all that. And I think that with food, like we can get all foods all at once, which is amazing, but we don't have the discovery of a new food anymore. Like
Yeah,
you read about when
we got
I don't know,
avocados, and that's about it.
That's
the
right.
latest
Avocado,
thing.
the invention of avocado, that was amazing. Yeah. I remember when the family discovered avocados.
Yeah,
But it's not like when, coffee was discovered and brought to the West, or cinnamon was a massive craze, in the
Or
I don't know,
potatoes.
some century or other. Or
potatoes were
yeah,
brought to the
yeah.
Irish and then quickly stripped away from the Irish.
Yeah.
They gave it to them enough for them to become dependent, and then in comes the blight.
Yeah.
I thought that was just their main shit for the longest time. I
know. Yeah.
I didn't realize until I got older that they discovered potatoes in South America.
Yeah.
And then brought them
went
over.
global.
Yeah. And nobody in England liked them, so they're like, let's give them to the Irish because they shit on those people all the time.
Yeah,
and then the Irish ate them up.
afford anything else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they couldn't afford cattle or anything else. They were just eating the worst food.
Yeah.
and one crop, and that was it. Yeah. And no bailout.
Yeah, potatoes
So that's
fucking
nice.
rock though.
Oh yeah, they're amazing. Yeah.
It's actually the Irish's fault that they didn't make them into French fries and stuff. I mean, come on, if you can't make good eats off potatoes, you're just doing it wrong.
We are matching way too long. I know. I'm not even noticing it. Okay.
Yeah.
Back out.
So, conversation's too good. We gotta back out. We
Too
gotta back out.
good. We've covered the gamut.
Too engaging.
Who needs content when you've got this?
Yeah.
What is wrong with
Hash
this?
browns. Yeah, the Irish should have been over there in their little
Right.
island eating hash
Right.
browns.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So much. Like aren't Bellinis potato
dude,
as well?
how pissed off would the British be if they look over there and like all their little places that they're supposed to have like dominance over, like Ireland, they have hash browns
Yeah.
and shit because the British don't have good food. Let's be honest.
No.
And then
like,
they look over to Australia. Everybody's eating bloomin' onions. Oh my god, are you kidding?
that was so funny when I first
Do you guys
heard
have
the
bloomin'
bloomin'
onions over
onion.
there?
I never heard of it until I heard about Outback Steak. And actually, that's on my list. You've reminded me. I need to go to an Outback Steak.
Oh, dude, you want diarrhea? Go get yourself a bloomin' onion, dude. They are insane. They're so good.
It's deep fried, right?
Yeah, it's like
Are they deep
1,800 calories for just like this giant deep fried onion. What they do is they have this specialized tool that's kind of like a pineapple slicer. You know, the things that just de-skin a pineapple and core
Right.
it.
Yeah.
It kind of pushes down on top of it and just flays out the onion, and then they just
Right.
dip it in like liquid batter or whatever. Oh,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Just like Mom used to make.
Yeah, just like Mama used to make down there in the old Outback.
That is so funny. And also, we don't drink Foster's. In fact, Foster's is not even sold in Australia, except where tourists are, because it's export only. It used to
So
be
all
in
the things I've been taught about Australia. Do you guys have a lot of skin cancer?
We have a lot of skin cancer.
Okay. All right.
People in
There's
chat
some
every day-
truth.
Yeah, that is truth. Yeah, that is true. Because we do a lot of outdoors and we have a lot of sun.
Yeah, the
direct
sun's really close
But,
to Australia.
Yeah, the deadly spiders and snakes and sharks and stuff like that is highly exaggerated as well.
Oh.
But if you're in a city, I live in a city. I'm not going to. It's like the equivalent of saying, I'm not traveling to the US. I don't want to get killed by bears. I don't want to get killed by. I don't want to get a tick bite and go and get paralyzed. It's like, well, it does happen, but to one person per year.
Apparently, Foster's was created by two Americans who arrived in Melbourne, Australia from New York City in 1886. It's not even a Australian
I've not
invention.
heard of that before.
Dude, should I Alt F4 out of this game? What the hell is going
I think
on?
we might. Yeah, let's do that.
What
Let's
has
do that.
happened?
Just make sure it's not Alt F4 on OBS.
Yeah.
I live in
Alt.
fear of doing that.
F4.
Yeah.
There we go. Game broke. Bloomin' onions are 3,000 calories. You're gonna have to eat the whole damn
Wow.
thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I would love to just see a stream of you eating a bloomin' onion with a martini. But like as you eat it with your fingers, never wipe your hands, and so like by the end you're like you grab the base of the martini and it like slide like your hands are slipping and sliding all over the glass. Oh, greasiest glass by the end of it.
Sounds fantastic.
Yeah, those things rock. Oh, dude, don't even get me fucking started over here. There's people complaining about like, when are they gonna make Tarkov not fucking suck? You know what sucks? I hate that. I know you haven't played it yet, but Dark and Darker, dude. They hit that. You hit the play button, you're in a game.
Yeah.
40 seconds. I think I made a video where I was like, I even counted 40 seconds from the time that you hit play. And it's like, come on, they have the players on Tarkov. You should be able to slam together a lobby in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Hey, at least we
They're
waited
still
so
in a
long
group.
that, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Yeah. Good.
Accept. Let's do it.
This time for sure. I just
Time is
think
guaranteed.
Battlestate Games is just a smaller company than any of these other games are made by.
Then Iron Mace or whatever, the people that made Dark and Darker, it's like 4 people.
All
It's
right.
like a tiny little.
Yeah, actually, that's true. That's a
I just-
totally flawed argument. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know what they're. I think the problem is they have a greater idea than they have development skills. That's a possibility, right?
Right.
There's so many
right.
people out there that have just good ideas, but then they just don't have the expertise. Maybe they just suck at making, like Dean Hall, the guy that made DayZ.
Right.
Great
right.
idea. But boy, does he suck at making games. That guy has no idea what the fuck he's doing. And Bohemian Interactive, or not Bohemian Interactive. Who the hell's making DayZ? It's Bohemian, isn't it?
Bohemia. Yeah.
Bohemia Interactive. Yeah, they suck. They suck real bad. That game's a clunky dumpster fire.
I think Bohemia did Armor 3 as well.
Yeah, and those games, like as cool as they were and as like powerful as they were not like.
No, like try and open a door and for years is like broken.
Yeah, and I remember if you had a gun,
loot would spawn under the ground or floating in the air, or all sorts of things were broken.
if you had like a gun in your hands and a gun on your back, I think, and then you tried to hot swap and put a gun into your backpack, it would just it would eat the gun or something. I forget what
something like that.
Was like
Yes. Yeah,
I remember having to just chuck them on the ground and then pick them up and do it that way.
That's right. Yes. All that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's Bohemia. Yeah.
Because I just played a lot of Operation Arrowhead, like that thing for.
Yeah.
That was my shit right there.
Nice. Yeah.
I do remember. I've been born and raised in Tallahassee, Florida, and I don't know my city that well because I never like leave the house, right?
Yeah.
I do remember it was kind of just embarrassing that I realized I knew Shanaris, the map from Arma, way better than I know my own hometown.
No,
like
yes, that's right.
Back in the day, I could get dropped down in the middle of nowhere. And I'd be like, oh, I'm right near Gorka. All right, I need to head this way. This is northwest. I'll be there. I get a can of beans and 2 cans of soda pop, and I'll be there in no time, baby.
Yeah,
and I just I knew the map like the back of my hand. I'm in my own
That's
goddamn hometown, wandering around, going like, where the hell am I?
Also, I get nostalgic for places I used to play in, like the maps on Armor or maps in old Ghost Recons. It's like, oh, remember that desert gulch which had that ravine through the middle? I physically feel like, oh, I want to go back there one day, you know.
Oh, and then going back there so sad.
Well, it's so sad because it's all pixelated and crap.
It's not as good as you remember. Yeah.
It's 640 by 480 at best, you know.
Yep.
It's like 420p, and the people are just stick figures, and it's horrendous. It's like, no, it was great. It was beautiful. It's like playing.
Yeah, we started
Halo
talking
again.
about some nostalgic, sad shit, and immediately Mac DeMarco Chamber of Reflection comes on, which is like such a sad, somber little song.
It's the AI. It's the AI.
Yeah, AI just runs everything. It's storyboarding this entire stream, you know, thanks to AI.
Yeah.
Constantly have little topics of conversation pop up.
Okay.
Oh my god, my
And
game's
why are
not
we
working.
here?
Where are we?
We are interchange.
Oh, Interchange. My favorite map. I know this map like the back of my hand. I don't know this map at all. We'll be all right.
Oh,
You
we're
just tell
close
me where to
to
go.
Ramp. Yeah. We might run up this ramp and see what happens.
Was that like a 20-minute wait? Yeah, it was basically about 20 minutes from the
Kinda.
last time we were in a game, yeah.
But we were so entertaining that no one even noticed.
They noticed.
You'll edit all this out.
Yeah, they fucking noticed for sure.
They get more time.
Don't
to
worry,
sub.
if Dark and Darker was not stripped from Steam, we would have been able to play 3-4 matches in that 20-minute time.
Right.
Did you
It
pop
was
in
stripped
through
from
the...
Steam?
Yeah, there's some sort
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
bullshit DMCA thing. I was
Oh, was there really?
yeah, the
Missed all
people that dev it used to work for Nexium or Nexom or whatever. It's like a big developer in South Korea. And they developed the basis of what would be Dark and Darker while still working at Nexom. And then they left because Nexom was like, don't make that game, it sucks. It was like a spec game, I think. And they were like, it doesn't have legs, get rid of it. And the people that were working on it were like, I think you're wrong. And so they
took
left to go make it.
started their own thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And now Nexom's like, but that's mine.
That's out. Yeah. Right.
Because they now Dark and Darker's huge, you know.
Yes. Yes. Totally. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they want that money, but
Yeah.
part of me is like, they've been going back and forth at each other, and part of me is like, I don't want to be this guy, because everybody's having this huge like emotional reaction to their favorite little game getting yanked off Steam.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I know like Critical made a video where he's like, guys, like Nexom's like the biggest piece of shit company ever, and like they need to fucking stop being dicks, and everybody's getting all emotional over it, defending Dark and Darker.
Isn't that like a massive temptation of being a YouTuber? Is
To hop on the
just
bandwagon,
hop,
like you,
hop on, do a hot take video of something obvious.
yeah. Oh, two.
Beefy, juicy boys who seem clueless.
They do.
I killed one.
My silencer's red.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
bright red. But the more I look into it, you know what? Like, I don't know if Dark and Darker is in the right for some of this stuff. If what Nexom is saying is true.
Right. Yeah.
I'd be pretty pissed if they developed basically the basis of a game on company time, and technically I would think that would be the company's IP, and then you just all of a sudden take it,
trace
and
it. Yeah.
make a game out of it, a hit game.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a scav. I got him.
Yeah. Frag him. That scav won't be bothering us anymore.
Oh, you got him? Okay.
I think we collectively got him.
Yeah, he's laid out. He's laid out.
We can put some bullets in some mags here. Did we kill both of those players or just the one? Let's go find out.
Oh, no. One ran off like the Dickens. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Wait,
right.
apparently there's some updated stuff in here. Apparently they're only alleging assets And because I thought when you do a lawsuit, you know, you throw everything at them. Like you go, because you know you're going to get clawed back a little bit, you know. So you just go like, you stole assets, you stole code, you stole everything. And then you let the lawyers kind of fucking peel back the onion until you get to the real juice, because you just want to see how much you can win. And it seems like it's been now pulled back, maybe to the point where there's people saying that it's not even about code at this point. It's just assets, which most of the assets are like Unreal Engine. You can purchase them assets, which I figured the assets were the least of their worries. I figured they made like the foundations of the coding for the game.
Well, they want the IP.
And then stole it.
Yeah, right.
I was thinking that would be it. Oh, God, there's a guy on the other side of this.
Yeah.
Got him. Where's he at? Where's he at?
I'm hearing other footsteps. I killed one scav.
I heard a guy just like whispering a second ago. I have no idea where the hell he is, though.
Yeah, there's two other scavs. One's through at furniture or something. And one's back where we were in Ollie.
I'm
That
running
sounds like
right now.
a team. Yeah, okay. You're not the only one running, I think.
There's a guy on the other side of this thing. I just got to kill this dude. He's freaking me out.
Yeah. No, you need to.
Problems.
Okay, I'm on my way.
Oh, wait, never mind. It's just a mag that needs to be reloaded. We're good.
Oh, okay. It's not another jam.
I thought I had a jam, too. It wasn't. It was just... This guy had one of those badass MP43s, best gun in the game.
Uh-huh.
The double barrel.
Not anymore.
It's mine.
Okay, I'm coming to you. Shots in the distance.
Oh, this guy had a flash grenade on him. Look at that. Should I pack a mag real quick?
Oh, he was back here. Right, yeah.
Okay, it sounded like he was right next to me, and then as I walked, like he kept getting further away, but I didn't hear footsteps. I just heard his voice line getting further away. It made no sense, but...
The distances have gotten more difficult to judge with recently. It's
So that guy was just whispering to himself, and you got that, right?
That didn't go as well as I planned.
I feel like this gun keeps jamming, but it doesn't. I just go through bullets that fast.
Just to get emptied out.
It is a bullet
it does
hose.
Fire. It does fire fast, yeah.
Oh, One Peg already made a video on it. You know what I was gonna do was I was gonna say like all these like YouTube guys. I didn't want to just make another critical video, which seemed like the wackest like bandwagoning video I've seen.
But
so I was gonna get like one of those video
Yeah.
game lawyer guys, and I was gonna be like, do these guys have a case, like an actual person with a brain?
But isn't it like $1,000 for 10 minutes work? Like, isn't it just that easy, like shooting fish in a barrel?
What, making a video on it?
Making a hot take video on something that just happened.
Yeah, like the
Just,
jumping
just
on
you
like
saying, isn't it crazy this thing just happened?
Basically, yeah. Which is why like Critical's channel is so genius, because it is truly, I think, like even self-admittedly low effort. Like he doesn't even make thumbnails and shit. He's just like whatever, like whatever the latest thing is, I'll talk about it. If you're first, being first is way better than having a well-edited second video.
Okay, yeah, interesting.
And my inability to be punctual on this kind of stuff is what fucks me up, because like,
do you have a pistol? Oh, that's a little.
This is a Ketter. This is my little Ketter, dude.
Okay.
Come on. Come on, let's go get some of this nasty shit around the corner.
Yeah.
There's some people
put that
over here.
Ketter to use.
Yeah.
Let's see that red tip glowing.
I'm gonna spare your chat a gross joke, right? But there's good follow-ups, many good follow-ups where I want to see that red tip glowing. Okay. Like a dog dick.
That was a test.
No, okay. That was a tester. Alarm is going off.
That's the power on, yeah.
Oh, wait, I have a quest. Big sale.
Yes. Oh, did you just blip blip?
Yeah, I just bloop.
Well, let's go to let's blip the others.
All right, let's do it. Should I look at my tasks, or do you know them by heart?
I know where they are. I did it recently.
Yeah.
Taco professional.
Don't you think there's someone in that store back there? Nah. We're probably fine.
I
Wait,
didn't
there's
hear
definitely
anything.
a dead body.
Oh,
You just
there's
walked over.
shit. Yeah, he's here.
Nah,
So
you got him.
He's just hiding in the back of the store. No.
Uh-oh. Hey, do you mind if I loot your kill? Thanks, dog.
What just happened?
I just asked him if I could loot his kill, and he's like, "Brr." He said something.
Yeah.
Brr.
All right.
Yeah, you didn't leave much on this guy. He's in there to the left.
Yeah.
To the left.
How left?
Where are you?
I hope I killed the right person then.
Yep, I think you did. Wait, let's listen. Let's listen. There's one more. Walking.
Yeah.
Is he coming down the alley? Or the hallway?
I think he might be at that corner store, which with the wooden.
Yo, he's about to come in the door that we came in. He's looking at the body that I was looting.
Oh, wow.
He's out there. Hey, man. Get away from that body, man.
Yeah. News?
Yeah, I got him.
Did you kill him?
Yeah. You ran over his body. You walked over.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm impressed.
SKS. He's just a regular ass scab with HP rounds.
Oh, yeah?
He had an IFAK though. And an RGD5. Guess I don't need to reload. I did hear Scav like kind of get hot and bothered earlier. Ooh. Fuck that shotgun. Wait,
Upgrade
somebody
my
else
helmet.
walking?
Oh, yeah. Could just be a scav on a routine patrol.
Ah! Running! Don't kill me! You look like you were gonna gun me down the second I turned that corner. That was horrifying.
Yeah. That's teammates for you.
Yeah.
He ran up the escalator.
No, there's two of them.
Okay.
There was the one that I shot at, and then there was one that was coming the same way the last guy was. Dude, you got a flashlight on your back.
Oh, I do.
In this dark room, it is a pistol, maybe?
Yeah. Roger
There
that.
you go.
It's not embarrassing.
Yeah.
But you're a good friend. You'll tell a friend when they got toilet paper hanging out of their pants.
Yeah. I'll do that to my kids sometimes because it's funny to me. I'll try to like slip a little piece of toilet paper to the bottom of their foot. Because you have to bring them to the bathroom, you know, because they can't wipe themselves.
Yes.
And I think it's just funny to watch like a 3-year-old walk out of a bathroom with toilet paper on their shoe.
He's dead.
I don't think so.
Gav is dead.
I think there's another one. Oh, okay. I'm gonna go back to looting this guy.
It seriously looks like you're carrying a toy pistol.
It's that's how good it is, dude.
Yeah.
It is it's pretty small, but it packs a punch. You just have to make sure to hit him like right in the eyeballs.
Okay.
You have to hit him in the jugulars. That's how you kill people. What are these like AK mags? What the hell? This guy had like a 5.56 AK mag. Oh, I know what that thing
it's
is.
from someone
AK
else.
105, I think. I know what those are.
Oh yeah, right. Those, yeah.
Does anybody actually use the 5.56 AK? Is that thing any good? I've never heard someone go like,
Can't remember.
"Oh my god,
Yeah.
I got the 5.56 AK. I better pimp this gun out."
I would have tried it, but I don't remember one gun from another much.
Ooh, you hear that?
Or scavs, yeah.
Oh, jiggy briggy. He's up here somewhere.
Nowadays, he could be a floor above us or below us as well.
Dude, what is with this game and the sound? I don't know.
Because the engine doesn't know how to dampen sound due to objects, so you have to code it by hand yourself. And they used to have just sound barriers between the floors that were just a complete block of sound.
Well, what happened to those?
They removed them all because they were buggy. Because
Oh,
you'd like.
wasn't
and
this
now-
worse? Isn't this? I guess it's
Kind of.
consistently bad, which is better than inconsistently good.
Yeah,
Which I disagree with entirely, but you know what?
yeah.
It was just weird that I've played this game since like 2018, and the sound has done nothing but get worse since the moment
Yeah.
I played it. I was so
Well,
blown
it's-
away by the sound design when I first played it, and now I'm like,
Right.
this isn't nearly as good as it used to be.
Well, it's because each time they
Ooh,
change
I
it,
sure did.
yeah, whether it's better or worse, you get used to it and you adjust to it. So any
Yeah.
change, you lose all that knowledge.
That like ear memory, not quite muscle
when-
memory,
yeah,
but ear
it's like
memory.
that. Yeah.
He just passed left to right up there.
He, good.
Sorry.
Was that your flashback?
It's not flashbang, dude. I'm shooting out the lights so they can't see it, so we don't silhouette.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yeah. Oh wait, is that his gun? Is that his elbow? No, it's not.
There's all the mannequins around here.
Yeah. Oh, this place sucks. I know where we are.
Idea.
Yeah,
Can
there's
be a killer
always,
spot.
for me, always a guy past the playground. There's like that weird balcony
Yeah.
up there in the corner.
Yeah,
People
'cause there's an
love to
information
camp it.
counter. Oh, right. Well, also, sometimes, like, I've killed killer once just standing at the information counter,
Howdy, Sam. Looking good.
which is my favorite way to kill him.
Thank you, thank you.
Not today.
Why am I sitting here?
There's an escalator they can disappear down, so they just can't seem to disappear. Distant player, 2 players.
Players? How far?
Massive backpack, right down the back.
Grenade distance?
Maybe, I don't know. They're sort of in where that fast food place is down the end.
Down there? Oh,
Oh, sorry,
oh, I
I
know
see
what
it.
you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I'm running up to it.
Past the escalators, yeah. On the
Okay.
left. There's 2 of them and they're expecting us.
Oh! What? That
What
better
was
not be a
that?
suicide. We better have thrown grenades at each other.
Oh,
Okay, yeah, Big Daddy Dan got me. Okay, we're good.
with a grenade?
With a grenade. We threw them, I think, at the same time because mine blew up when
Wow.
his blew up and then his killed me.
That is
Great minds think alike. We were just nading out together. Me and Big Daddy Dan.
okay. He hit me in the pelvis. He's really taken a disliking to me.
Question is, did you trade? Let's see here. No, I did not. Killed nothing but scavs.
Got one of them.
This guy's asking what my shirt is. My shirt is Bin Laden and George Bush hanging out on the epic graphic. Is that whole conflict was my... Oh, here's a full screen.
Full screen that.
Yeah, there you go.
Scene.
Yeah, that conflict was my childhood. Every day,
yes,
people were talking about what's happening there in that Middle East. It's the great combatants of my youth.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. I didn't get it when I was a kid. And then I grew older, and I was like, oh, we were the bad guys. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize we were the bad guys as kids.
Yeah, no one tells you you're the bad guys.
Yeah, they somehow got Colin Powell to go up there and fucking lie his ass off.
Well, there's known knowns and unknown unknowns. Yeah. But there's a third category. Yeah, the weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah. That guy had a stellar record too.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that movie Vice? It's about Dick Cheney's life with Christian Bale. I love that movie.
Christian Bale, unrecognizable too.
Unrecognizable.
Amazing.
Yeah. That movie's great.
Yeah, amazing.
Steve Carell plays Donald Rumsfeld.
That's
great.
Right.
Yeah.
He was good too. Yeah.
I love the I don't know if it's a deleted scene or what, but it's a scene where they have like a drill for what would happen if they got into a nuclear fight with Russia.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Dick Cheney getting rushed to a secret location where it's like a bunker, and it's all like the top security council coming together and making decisions based off of a nuclear war. That's just like a scenario to see like how they would react and the decisions that they would make and what kind of decisions they should make type stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they sit down at the table and they go like, we've launched a barrage of nuclear missiles at Russia and it's like 15 million dead. And Dick Cheney just goes, had to be done. Like it was like immediate, had to be done. And it's just so like callous how quick he does it. Jeez. That fucking movie rocks though.
Yeah.
And Sam Rockwell plays George W. Bush. Actually,
yes, it really
sounds and looks like him remarkably.
Yes.
I don't know how, but I don't think when I look at him, I'm like, that's not George Bush. And then you see him in the movie, he looks exactly like him.
Yes, yeah, that was uncanny.
Yeah, that's a little hidden gem. I don't think anybody gives it enough credit.
It is because it didn't have a lot of action, but yeah, it was amazingly done.
The editing in that movie is awesome. As a editor for TV and stuff, do you watch movies and just go like, "That's a good edit"? Like that was a good cut right there.
It's usually bad ones I notice more than good ones, but yeah,
that's true.
Sometimes you go, "Oh wow, they pulled that off. That's really good."
Yeah. I love that scene where Bush invites Cheney to his house to try to coax him into being his vice president, and they keep using imagery of fly fishing. You know. Because Cheney's like laying down like all the things he wants to be in charge of, which is like unprecedented. He wants way more power than a vice president has. He's like, I want to lead Department of Energy and I want to do foreign relations and I want to do this and that. And George Bush is like, and he keeps like showing the lure in the water, you know?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, no,
that movie rocked. Cool. Okay.
New plan.
Do you want to do a scav run?
Let's do a scav run.
Let's do a fucking scav run. We're getting destroyed. I don't have much gear left. Let's go for a scav run.
This is a brilliant idea. Where are we going to do it? I mean, I just feel like D2 is the only place to scav because you make so many new friends.
Oh, yeah. Didn't he shoot that guy and the guy apologized to him? Yeah, Dick Cheney straight up gun blasted a dude
That's right. That's right.
and didn't apologize for it because the guy was out of formation. They were like hunting quail or something. I don't know what they were doing.
Wow,
And
we
he-
really look like scavs.
Oh, isn't that weird? I'm playing a scav. Sometimes you get scavs that look like PMCs, and I go in going, I know I'm going to get shot. I'm going to get shot by my own homies.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
They're wearing too much green.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can find a beer. That's what I'm going to do right now.
Yeah. Go beard up. I think my favorite rendition of Dick Cheney shooting his friend was that Family Guy clip where he just point blanks his friend like 4 times. And then when the guy falls to the floor, he shoots his body one more time and goes, oh, I thought you were a deer. Which can't be far off from what who the fuck shoots someone at all and doesn't apologize for it in the heat of the moment. That is a huge indicator of that guy's psyche, I guess, his temperament. I don't know, like what kind of a character he has. If you shoot someone, like if I accidentally do anything to somebody or even intentionally, I don't know, like just seeing someone get fucking beamed like that, I would be like, oh shit, I'm sorry. That's actually badass though if he like intentionally did it. If he intentionally shot this guy in the face, he's like, I'm not apologizing for it, I fucking did that shit on purpose. I don't know if that's kind of a badass move or not. I'm the goddamn vice president. I'll shoot whoever the fuck I want. What? The Clintons kill people all the time. I can't shoot this guy in the face. What the fuck? This job sucks. Vice president can't even shoot somebody. What the hell's wrong with this country? Wait, Dick Cheney's still alive? They made that movie while that fucker's still alive? How old is he? There's no way he's alive. He's been dead. Let's see. Dick Cheney. Former vice president. He is alive. What he's 82 years old. By God. 82 years old. He's only 5'8", too. Jesus. Scary little puppet master that guy is. You look at images of him on Google Images and you can see the chess moves going in his mind.
You're talking about me, aren't you?
No, I'm talking about Cheney. You ever just take one look at someone and go like, don't give that guy power. That guy should not have a job where he has a lot of power. All right, I'm in.
You're in.
Yep. I'm keeping my AK-74U on single shot.
Yeah, my SKS doesn't have a choice. Are we near each other?
I'm gonna desk pop for the homies.
Oh, there you are. Yep, gotcha.
Hell yeah.
Well, it's probably a good time to go visit the underground
you
nether regions.
Wait, hold on. The nether regions? Oh.
Where are we?
Let's go deep. Go deep on... What do you mean, where are we? We gotta go this way. We gotta go through this little hole in the fence.
I'm freaking lost. Yeah, okay.
Actually, what's the safest way there? Fuck safety. It's not about safety. It's about being efficient. We're gonna run a straight line across this place where we're probably gonna get shot. But there's 20 minutes left. So.
Yeah.
Wait, whoa, say his name again?
Glucker?
Glucker?
What do you say? Gluhar?
Yeah, I say like Gluhar, I think. Because
Right.
In the actual game, they have it spelled 2 different ways. I don't know, is it Gluhar?
Really?
Or is it Gluckar? I've never just heard like Glucker. Glucker, or whatever you called him.
Yeah, Glucker. Yeah.
Yeah, Glucker.
Like Clucker.
Yeah. I mean, that might be how you say his name. I have no idea.
It's very unlikely. I think I just merged with your body.
Oh, I felt it.
Yeah.
Did you feel me inside you for a moment?
Our pixels were like one.
Oh. How did I pick this building? This building's bad news. I have an SJ1 combat stim, so if you need that...
Wow, yeah, yeah. I'll stick with you.
I don't know what that... Is that good?
Hello?
Let's see.
Scav friend.
Where? Hello?
Oh, sure. What, anything you need?
He needs a Salewa and some Tushankas, I think.
Hey, this is...
I have
I'm
one
also
friend
here. Please don't shoot me. Ah! Hey.
Good.
What's up?
What's up?
I do not have any of those things, but I do have... Oh, wait. Have you guys gone to medical yet?
Yeah, we just searched it.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, I can't help you. Medical.
Did you search the med room in this building?
You want the
No, we just
keychain
got here.
Okay, let me go check it real quick.
You guys aren't gonna get that keychain? Look at it. You put a keychain on the ground. You see a little keychain? Little gingy.
Yeah.
Little gingy
Right.
keychain. That's a peace offering.
That's a collector's item. It's a good luck charm.
Thank you guys, appreciate it.
All right, now if you hear us crying in the distance and gunfire, you have to come help us. That's part. If you take the keychain, you're acknowledging that you will help us.
In an emergency.
Oh yeah, yes I will.
Okay, awesome. Hey, wait, there's sugar here
I
too,
don't think he's taking it.
dude. You have to take it. You already said you would help me. You have to take it. It's on the floor.
He doesn't know the game very well.
You hit
Press
F. Hit F to take it.
F.
Here, I'll relocate it to a light. Look, I'm gonna put it right here.
Yeah, that's much better. Oh, thank you. He was making space. He made space now.
There you go. It's right here. Right there in the light.
I think it's more difficult. You put it on the one green place.
I know, yeah. I like camouflaged it somehow. Bye. I'm going downstairs. I'll see you guys down there.
You didn't recognize me though, did you?
Hey, there's people fighting out here. What's going on?
I'm
here?
famous too.
I'm just gonna head on downstairs. I think that's down.
Yeah. That's. What do you mean them? So
What do
we
you
allowed
mean?
to shoot.
Hey, wait. You
rogues?
see this guy? Hey, are you a homie?
Hello.
You a scav? There's 100% a guy peeking that corner. Do you see him?
Yeah.
Is that a homie?
Well, someone's not a homie.
Yeah. Homie, yes or no? Tell me
Our
right
friends are
now.
trying to find the way down, but can't find us.
Oh, are they?
We're downstairs.
Yeah, we
we're
gotta.
downstairs.
Yeah, come on down here, dude. There's guys that might be or might not be homies down here. Come on.
Hello.
Hey, are you a homie?
Hey, don't be scared.
Are you a scav or a PMC guy by the pillar? Dude, that guy's a PMC to the right. The guy to the right's a PMC. Kill him! Fuck. I had a malfunction real quick. I honestly think it's two series of scavs killing each other. I don't think that they're PMCs.
I got too much karma. I don't want to lose it.
Okay, I'll do all the killing.
Yeah.
I'll cry when I'm done killing.
You'll be like my little brother. I would just go poke that, see what it is.
Yeah. You all right down there,
See if
homie?
it bites.
There's two people in the main room. I don't know if they're players or scavs.
I
Well,
can't
they
hear
like
shit.
to-
I got too much music playing. I'm gonna turn it down and I'll come back to this conversation. I got like the fucking what is this? I got like the loudest music blasting in my ears. I got the Smiths playing right now. Some sad,
Nice.
sad, angsty '80s boy music. I'm gonna turn that down. Get back into the thick of it.
Friendly.
All right, I'm back. What were you saying? Where'd those meanies go?
Scav army, yes.
Quickly gear up.
Nice to be here. Yeah, great place you have here.
I like it here.
This is fun.
Goodbye, Mr.
Okay.
Have a good day. Anything you guys
What?
need?
I need a cowboy hat if anyone has one.
I need tank battery.
What if there's a guy with a cowboy hat on? He's like, no, none of that stuff. Oh, what?
Murderer.
Yeah, the guys, those PMCs, they went up the ramp. I figured they were just heading for the exit.
Yeah.
But oh wait, I
They
got
chased
killed
me up the ramp.
by a player
got killed.
scav, by our own homies.
Oh,
Scav on scav violence. You know, this world's never gonna change.
this is what people say US servers are like. This would never happen on OCE.
This would never happen when the AI takes over. They'll make sure that we play nice together.
How many people were in that room? That was like 10.
That guy's getting reported for being an asshole. Oh, wait, that's
Yeah,
not one
yeah.
of the things you can do.
I always go offensive nickname when I'm
Yeah.
so pissed I have to choose something.
Yeah. You shoot me when I don't deserve to get shot. Offensive
That's
nickname.
right. Your name is offensive to me now.
Yeah. That's what happens when you don't shoot first. I know, dude. I think the only obvious solution to scav on scav violence is to shoot first. That way you don't get shot.
Well, if you shoot a double crossing scav, you get massive karma boost.
Oh.
So the play is to goad a good scav into turning bad on someone else and then kill them.
Oh. How do I even see my scav rep? I think I've killed way too many.
You have
for
to
it
go
be
to
good.
the fence trader.
Fence. It's negative 0.09.
That's not good. That's not good. Mine is 6.25. I can hang with bosses.
Whoa.
Yeah.
They don't like me.
I was below. I was just below 6 before, so I don't know how I got boosted, but I did.
You probably shot one of those guys. That was
I don't
being.
think. No, I didn't. Well, yeah. No, I don't think I shot anyone that way, but something near. Yeah, I must have done that recently.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna do. What do you think? One more?
Mm.
You think one more?
One. What? Let's ask the people if they want one more.
They'll say yes. They'll just.
Well,
They'll work
one's
me
in
to the
chat
bone.
if you want one more.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta rile up the crowd. You know, you gotta do some crowd work. I'm just
No.
here ignoring my chat for an hour at a time.
Yeah.
I
They
get
love
so
that.
distracted when because I don't play with other people very often, and I just never built the skill of keeping up with chat and carrying on a conversation and playing a game at the same time.
Yeah. Honestly, the more you stream by yourself, the better streamer you are. I feel like.
Oh, really?
Honestly. Yeah, I think
Because you have
that's.
to.
Yeah, you spend more time with your chat. Like I feel like if you're gonna do it as a
Right.
job, you should play by yourself.
Right.
more
right,
often.
I see. Yeah.
And playing with people leads to what many would consider bad streams, which is because the people that are in the chat, they love it when you hold their hand and you talk to them, ask them about their day. But when you're with
Well, I
someone,
guess.
you're like, oh, I would rather talk to an actual human than these fucking idiots. This text and a block. No offense, chat, for both mine and these saps, these goddamn saps in the chat. I would rather talk to you any day than these fucking
Boy,
losers.
this took a turn. This
Yeah.
monologue took a turn.
Yeah. It's past 12. All right. If you're up this late on the East Coast, all right, you're gonna have to put on your big
That's
boy
right.
britches because I'm gonna throw some
gotta-
shit towards you.
We're unrestricted now. The licensing no longer applies.
Yeah. There's one guy in my chat that's like, "Hey man, I get it.
I get it.
I get it. All right.
Feel you, man.
Yeah, I feel you. I know what you're talking about. All right. I think I'm ready. Oh wait, hold on, not that ready. I'm just bringing a shotgun with some Magnum Buck.
I'm bringing a PP91 Keta.
Whoa. Wait, I gotta put a flashlight on this thing. Wait, hold on. Might hear a horrific crash. There's some guy going like 150 down I-10 right now.
Oh, really? Oh, you can hear the interstate.
Yeah. Don't triangulate my position based off of that, but yeah.
Yeah, which exit?
Yeah. Thankfully, I-10 kind of runs across the entirety of the U.S., but
right.
I do live in Tallahassee, so that does narrow it down to 3 exits.
I dated someone from New Jersey for a while, and that when meeting someone else from the same area, they just asked what exit they live near. That's the which I-95 exit do you live near? they just knew it by numbers. It's like I'm near 28. Oh, I'm 27. Oh, we're neighbors.
Yeah, well-traveled people know that stuff. People go like, yeah, I live on this road, and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I don't know my way around town. I don't know. I know what town I'm in.
People who leave the house, you mean?
Yeah, I know where Chick-fil-A is.
There you go.
That's a chicken sandwich. That guy wanted a cowboy hat last time, so I'm bringing one in case somebody needs one this time.
I think I need to put Chick-fil-A on my list because there's places I just hear referenced all the time, and I feel like something's missing in my life that I've never been there. I need to be in on the. It's like you want to go to Paris once to see the Eiffel Tower once, just so you got that reference down, or go to New York once,
Yeah.
Just so every time people refer to it, you've got a touchstone.
You ever been to a brothel?
No, I've lived near a lot, but not inside.
Oh, okay.
I feel like I've got that covered from 90s, 80s, and 90s movies.
Yeah, I kind of want to go to like a Amsterdam brothel, but I'm a married guy, so I can't do that. But I've always wanted to go to Amsterdam.
I'm pretty sure it's exclusively married guys going to those places.
Really? Oh, there's somebody that's just screaming like, "Get in, raid!" Yeah, I guess there's not much single people going to brothels, probably. But
yeah, is my brothel talk boring you?
Yeah, sorry.
Which map do you fancy?
This is the final hoorah.
Yeah,
this is obviously a lighthouse run. Wait, I have a shotgun. No,
with a Keta. Yeah,
no, this is a customs run. Let's go back to the home turf of customs.
Yeah. I'm prepared.
Boom. Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah, Las Vegas has a brothel too. Or yeah, they got like prostitution over there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like it's less less exotic going to Las Vegas to get a prostitute.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like once you get to a certain age, you just feel sorry for them, I think.
Oh yeah. I don't think there's any. Nobody looks up to prostitutes. I don't think there's anybody that doesn't feel sorry for them in some way. That's just in the back of your mind. You go, wow, this sucks for you. But that's what I think about any woman I lay on top of. I
shouldn't have been so narrow.
Yeah.
So if I have time to go to like 2 fast food chains, what should I choose? I was thinking Taco Bell. Chick-fil-A is really up there. I've never been to Arby's.
Okay. It sucks because I want to say you're in San Fran. I'm sure they got Shake Shack there. Shake Shack, dude, kills. It is so good, but you don't want the good stuff. You want just the cultural cornerstones of like American
the butt
cuisine.
of jokes. Yeah.
Arby's is a good hit.
Mm.
Taco Bell's a classic.
Yeah.
Popeyes.
Uh-huh,
Popeyes is a good one.
Yeah. I've done In-N-Out. So I
Let's
think Chuck E.
see.
Cheese is a kids restaurant, right?
Yeah, if you go to Chuck E. Cheese, you're gonna just by yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get the cops called on you.
I could take my nephews. I could get away with that. But
Okay.
is it like a playground? Like, what is a Chuck E. Cheese? I didn't even know what it is.
It's basically like the 80s and 90s, like the best place for kids. But since then, it's
Right.
been run down.
Okay.
What it is you walk in there, and they have like an arcade section,
Right.
and then on the other side of this little divider, they have a kind of like a kids jungle gym type thing where it's like ball pit, slides, little tubes for them to crawl in like hamsters. And then there's a like parent seating area where the parents can sit there and order beer and get pizza and get drunk while their kids are probably at the bottom of the ball pit trapped.
Yeah, right.
And and then every about 15-20 minutes, this animatronic like band of Chuck E. Cheese's little band plays for the parents, and the parents are just over there like, shut up, I don't fucking care. And the pizzas and beer are super expensive, and it sucks.
Okay.
And it's really hard to enjoy the pizza because you walk in and they make you take your shoes off, and so if you're gonna play, they don't want kids running, in there with shoes. So the entire place just smells like feet, just like feet, like adolescent feet, sweaty
like
little gross piggies, and you're trying to eat pizza and drink beer while you just smell feet.
This is amazing.
Yeah, it's honestly, if you want to go to gross places, that might be up there on the list. This place is horrible. Let's get the hell out of here.
Wow. Yeah.
Let's go. Do you want to go to Stronghold again? Yes.
Well, I feel
Crack
it's
House?
calling to me. Yeah.
Let's go to Crack House. Let's clear this out real quick. There's
Yeah.
good intel spots in here.
Exactly.
I just realized what time it is. My lord.
Well, yeah.
It is 12:37.
I'm a bad influence. What can I tell you?
I am a bad boy staying up this late. Ladies. Bad boy.
Yeah.
Ladies like bad boys.
You're gonna
that
be
stay up
wrecked
late.
tomorrow.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Your
be
boss
so
is gonna
freaked out.
hate you.
Yeah. I'm not gonna be as productive at work tomorrow. It's alright, I found 63 USD.
So have you just got a mountain of footage that needs to be turned into videos?
Yeah, basically at all times. I got lots and lots of footage sitting there.
Yeah.
It got to the point where it was just I had so much just on the backlog that I got like a little editor guy or two that I just pass off like a couple weeks worth of footage off to, and go like, turn this into something.
Yeah. And do you just get a final cut from them, or do you get a sequence back from them and then fine cut it yourself?
First of all, where are you?
Oh, where am I? I'm still looting the freaking medical crap
I'm
house.
hiding under a shipping container in between Stronghold and Crack House. So you take your time. I'll be chilling here.
No. I don't know what I was thinking.
Ideally.
Whoa.
Oh, is that at you?
That's at me.
Yeah. Whoa, he got you good.
Felt snipey, yeah.
Can I not go under that? Wait, he's moving up?
Oh, great. Where even is he? So you're in the trench.
Yeah. This guy's he's running up.
Yeah.
Where is he?
Other side of the thing. He's reloading.
Hey, hey, what's
yeah,
up?
sorry about that.
That's fine. I just got caught up in the crossfire. You remember those commercials? The Crossfire? That game
I
is a
didn't see
board
that
game
commercial.
from like the 90s or 80s or something.
No.
Oh! God, there was another one.
No, that was me. I
Oh,
thought
that
you
was
were dead
you.
already.
Oh, no.
Oh, now I'm dead. There
I
was
got
another
caught.
one.
Okay, I got caught up in the crossfire. You shot. We helped kill a
Yeah.
guy together, and then you winged me a couple times, and I was like, "Oh, we're good." I was healing up. That's fine.
I thought you died in the crossfire.
No,
and then
no.
I was
I got
avenging your
caught up
death.
in the crossfire. No,
Both
we
of
killed
you
the
had
guy.
a purple item on as well.
Yeah.
Oh god. Well.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, that was a Nerf slogan. The crossfire. Yeah. Oh, hey, the final round being team killed, I think is it's a fitting end. This guy's like,
This is
can't end on that. I don't know. Are scabs back?
I've team killed each of the last 3 people I've played with. So yeah, my record stands.
Are the scabs back yet? I can't see.
Mine is, but yours will be longer.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 'cause
I
it
can't
said,
see 'cause,
I had yeah, we have to wait for the thing to come back. Oh, because I have to launch. Is that right?
Yeah.
So I have to start a scav run to find out.
No, I'm gonna leave the group. Oh, holy Jesus! My scav's got another 10 minutes, but
Yeah.
he's got a
That's
Mosin
because of
sniper.
your negative scav karma. That's why.
Yeah.
You've been a bad scav.
Yeah, I've been kind
You
of.
can tell a 10-minute story.
No, I'm gonna go back out with the shotgun. I'm gonna go for another one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got a shotgun here. I'm going to go shotgun.
Oh, but with the editing thing earlier, you were asking if they sent like a sequence or just the finished video.
Yes, that's right.
I am like, I don't know. It's a hard thing to do. Like me and Aqua have talked about this, but it is so hard to just be okay with an edit somebody else sends you.
Yes.
Because the way that
is.
they edit it is not at all the way that you're gonna. There's 1,000 ways to make the same video.
Same
And-
story. Yes. Yeah.
And sometimes I get stuff back, and actually I don't think I've ever gotten a video back where I'm just like, that's a perfect video. Like I'm always like, oh, I would have fucking changed this, and like, why did you do that? And it's part of it is just Aqua told me, man, he's like, you just gotta let the fuck go. Just let it go, man. Just let it go, let it rip.
Yeah.
But I really would like to get the project file and everything. But I know if I get the project file, I'll just sit there and basically re-edit the entire thing, like in
Right. Yes.
a little
It's
Aspie.
so true. It's so true.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, there we go. But usually if I send stuff off to be edited, it's like the stuff I don't, you can't do much creatively with it. So it's like VODs where it's everything's
Right.
one audio track.
That
or
makes sense. Yeah.
like a VOD is much, you can't do as much with it.
Just highlight. You're just doing
creatively.
highlights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Essentially. You can inject a little bit of narrative in there, but for the most part, it's hard to do anything with a stream. And then other stuff I'll send off if it's just like, I'm never going to get to that. So I might as well use it in some way.
It's either that or throw it away.
Oh, and then my podcast, I have my friend Stahl edits that, because if I have to talk to someone and then relive that conversation, I edited that thing myself for a very short time, and I was like, this sucks. There's nothing worse than reliving a goddamn conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. I am good to go. But this time,
for sure.
reserve?
Ooh. Yeah.
You're going to have to invite me again, though.
Gotcha.
Mm.
No, you don't need cash at reserve. We're good. All right. Because you quit the group already.
Yeah. Well, I quit it to check my scav timer.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Start chat. No.
Okay, this guy says that guy took 4 rounds of 12 gauge and didn't flinch. I didn't know if I was hitting him. I felt like I was hitting that guy.
Yeah, really? Wow.
It was when he was in the he was technically in the crossfire. I wasn't caught up in the crossfire, but it was
Yes.
because I kind of like came underneath the Connex or the shipping container. I came up like underneath it and behind him, and but the whole time I was just dumping rounds into him, but I didn't see blood anywhere. I was like, am I hitting this guy? I could have swore I was hitting him, but I figured everybody in chat would be like, whiffed. Wow, aim sucks. But there was one guy that was like, dude, you hit that guy like 1,000,000 times.
You two guys were both in green and both had a purple thing, and I had. Yeah, my situational awareness was lacking.
I should have VoIPed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to VoIP whether you're alive or dead just after a gunfight for some reason. I think everyone struggles with that.
Yeah.
Like your head's still reeling from the gun battle and you're not very articulate just in that second. Because I watch streams where teams play and that miscommunication happens as well.
That's also kind of like some of the frustrations of this game, and I don't even know like the word for it, but like it is a very hardcore game, which is the appeal of it. But Hunt Showdown is just like the casual version of this game.
Yeah, yeah.
And where your teammates have outlines and you can ping stuff for people. You can just do a middle mouse ping like I see
Drop
people.
a waypoint.
Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of so want that, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah, and I would
over by the
love
Connex.
to be able to.
No, not that Connex, the other Connex.
Yeah. The other one. Oh, or like if you're on woods, like I'm by the tree, like fuck.
Yeah, by the rock. Yeah.
I'm by the fucking tree. The green leaves, man. You don't see it. Fuck. Like, what else do you say?
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
I'm laying in a bush.
Yeah, that's right. It's easy. He's at 273 degrees. Yeah. No, I agree. So tell me about burnout. You've been doing this a long time. I get the impression streamers like burn out after 2 years, 4 years, maybe.
Yeah, streamers do because they just sit there and play games all day. Like,
But you're sitting there editing all day. Like, isn't that what? How do you don't get burnout?
Yeah, but imagine like, okay, so the problem is you need to have diversity in your life. In some way.
Yeah.
And so the people that I see getting burnout, they're either the people that just stream, and streamers like they don't know how to fucking take it easy and do it in a sustainable way. They'll just be on for hours and hours and hours and hours and days of doing the same shit. And my day's broken up where like I'll up for every whatever amount of time I spend playing, it's like quadruple that, assembling that stuff into a video, and that will be editing and while you at your job were just the editor, like I'm also doing the writing. Yeah, the writing. And then I also do like green screen stuff. So I have like cameras and shit. Effects. And so it's like it's different like workflow, you know, I'm like always doing a little bit of different. And then I have like the podcast, which is a completely different feel. It feels more like a talk show type thing. And then we also have like this D&D show. So I'm basically playing D&D. Yeah. And then spend a lot of time editing, spend a lot of time doing, I don't know. It's like by the time you get frustrated with one thing, you can turn and get frustrated on something else. And so you don't get burnt out by doing the same shit. And if I get burnt out doing the same thing, then I just focus on something else. So, for example, if you see me streaming a lot, it's because, buddy, I am sick and tired of doing Premiere. Done editing.
Yeah. Oh,
what is this? A Sig Sauer Romeo 8T reflex sight. This thing looks badass. It is going in the old pocket.
Nice.
The folding grip or the folding stock can stay.
I think I have this marked room key.
Did we just get shot at?
Nah, that was distant, I thought.
Yeah, it sounded like it came from the green buildings right over my shoulder. Possibly Hold on. I'm gonna jump up here. I'm just gonna look. Just gonna get a little peeky.
See,
Gluhar,
Glucker
Glucker.
is there.
G-Man could be over there at the old green buildings. Let's see if I get shot in the face when I go to look. Glucker?
Yeah.
Art thou around? No, I don't see him.
Feeling glucky?
Yeah. I don't... No, he's not here. We're good. That was just a far distance shot.
Yeah.
All right. You have that marked key? Let's do it.
I got a marquee. Let's have a look. I think I just found it, so I haven't even used it yet.
We're going to get into a... I'm pretty sure I just saw a guy over here at this bush. Let's see. We're good. You keep going on.
Okay.
Oh!
Well, that was closer.
I did see a guy in that bush.
Yeah. You fucking did. Oh, wow. Okay. AK 104.
All right, if he comes in, I'm going to shoot him in the back.
Okay.
I'm going to get him right
I'll
in
be the
back.
bait.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I see. I see your plan. Your cunning plan.
Yeah. This guy says, Tyler One's stream is fucking depressing. You join it, and he's been playing for 12 hours. He's 4 and 16 and looks absolutely soulless. Yeah, I don't... I
don't know.
The people that... You don't know who Tyler One is? Oh, my God, dude.
No.
You are dedicated to...
Does he stream Tarkov or not?
No, he doesn't.
I've never heard of him.
Oh, this door rocks, dude, because you can jump
Yeah.
up here and look over here. What's
Oh,
going
yeah.
on over here? You coming over here to mess with us?
Wow, that's a whole
Is it just
collection
me, or
of
did they
AKs.
add way more trees and bushes and stuff to these maps over the years? I always feel like...
Well, it's spring, right? I haven't noticed
yeah,
a
it's
difference.
spring. There's a 10-inch pine tree has all of a sudden popped up. Like I was just shooting at my head. There's definitely a guy out there.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Oh, you are going to get lit up running out that way. And look at you. You lived. All right. I'll follow.
Yeah.
He's like all the way down. Yeah, let's just run behind this one
Yeah.
and go between the
Yeah.
butt crack.
Yeah. The butt crack. So in your mind, this is just a giant grass butt.
Yeah, it's like a giant, like, yeah.
No, I see that now.
Yeah, big grass ass. Yeah, climb in between it, roll around a little bit. There's always a big mud puddle right in between them as I lay down in there.
Yeah.
Lap up some of the water off the surface.
And really dense bush.
Yeah. Always hydrate myself in the little mud puddle in between the cheeks. Then carry on.
There's a war on. Do what you got to do.
A lot of people are talking about Cane's chicken. I think that's like a Midwest thing, though.
I don't know that one.
It's like I don't know. You hear people talk about it. Oh, Cane's chicken,
Right.
it's great. Cane's this and Cane's that. Have you been to KFC? I think that's more of an international brand.
We have a lot of that. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
expect it to be that different. We have like McDonald's, Burger King, KFC.
Gotcha. Yeah, KFC is a weird one because about the time it went international is about the same time it started sucking, which I think there's a reason for that. They're obviously,
Okay.
I think they're just like, let's push it and make it as shitty and cheap as possible and get it
Right.
out to as many countries as possible. But
Yeah.
I remember in my youth, there was a time where getting a big ass bucket of chicken was like legendary. Like it was just, you knew that was some good eats.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've had KFC that's been edible in some years.
Yeah.
Probably honestly since like 2005. It just went down the shitter so hard.
Yeah. I'll get like one sandwich sometimes from them, but not a bucket of chicken or anything.
Yeah, that was like the classic it was just like, do you want a big ass bucket of chicken or do you want a
Yeah,
box
that
of
was-
chicken for one person? That was basically the only thing they
That's
had
right.
there.
The two choices. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was- I don't remember.
How many
sandwiches
people you
early
feeding?
on.
How fat are you guys? You want the
Yeah,
bucket
yeah.
or you want the little box? What do you want here? And they didn't have fries. All they had was potato wedges, and they were horrible.
Oh,
But the chicken
yeah.
was good enough that people just dealt with like the fourth
That's right.
the fourth of a potato you got that was just kind of fried and it was soggy.
Came, when I was young, it came with mashed potato and some like vegetables or something.
Yeah, they had mashed potatoes and
In little
gravy.
tubs.
Their mashed
Yeah,
potatoes
that's
and
right.
gravy rocks.
Oh, and corn on the cob.
Corn on the cob. I don't know if we
Yeah,
had.
it came with corn
we
on the
had. We
cob,
might have had
yeah.
corn. I don't know.
Like little, a 2-inch piece of corn on
Yeah.
the cob.
I remember my friend Brian is Canadian, and his KFC had fries before the U.S. one had fries. I was always so pissed because
Wow.
like all we had was the potato wedges, and he was like, "No, we got French fries here."
Yeah.
They
You
didn't.
got to cross the border.
Yeah, they didn't. They didn't think the Canadians would put up with that shit.
Well,
That's bad when you lose a game of wills to a Canadian. You know. I don't know. Those Canadians, they're gonna protest if we try to give them this shit. We'll just keep it to the Americans. We'll give them actual fries.
yeah. Wow.
Oh, dude, these
okay.
technical supply crates down here, these things rock.
Yeah. We got some yelling scabs down there. They're food.
You think they're
crates
down
as
there?
well.
I thought they were up in the building.
Oh right, that's
Hey, another sausage
impossible to tell. Oh wow,
and 3 Tashanka.
you gonna share that sausage or are you gonna eat it all yourself?
Is it like a one and done thing, or can you share it? Can I just eat
One
some
and
sausage? Let's see.
No, there's no saving it for later.
Yeah, it's just use all.
Yeah.
It'd be great if I could just give you a little bite, like the little ass end.
Just the rind.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll leave you the sausage skin. There you go. MGT? Ooh, and a yellow flare? What's the yellow flare for? Does that call in anything?
decoration? That's for 4th of July.
Oh, fuck.
No, that's a blank. It may be used in a, craft or something.
Eat the sausage. I'm going to take the MGT.
I can hear it from here.
I also hear someone, I think.
Yeah, there's some shooting and some dying. Oh, and some VoIPing. Yeah, we got it. We're missing out on the
Where are you?
on the social interaction through the brick hole.
To the left?
Yeah,
Okay. There's definitely someone down here somewhere. Or
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
above us. I don't know.
there's potential new friends.
Yeah.
So much more likely to be down than up.
Okay. You ready?
I'm ready. On
Let's
three.
do it.
3.
Breach and clear. Breach and clear. Whoa. Jesus Christ. That's definitely down here. That is definitely down here. Yeah. Okay. Open the door. I'll hit him with a yellow flare.
You ready?
Yeah. Oh, it's actually bright as hell too. Look at it; it's lit up in there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. All right, let's go in. Now that they know we're all about business.
Yeah, I know what we're all about.
You want to go to the button?
Yeah.
Let's go to the button while they're fighting. Hello?
What's on?
Yeah, he's in there. He's doing something. Trying to listen. Red Rooster is an Australian chicken chain. It's somehow worse than KFC. Is it that bad? Have you had Red Rooster?
Oh, I wouldn't say it's worse.
Did you go in?
But someone's doing surgery.
Oh, okay. You went in? All right.
Oh, I'm dead. Surgery fake. There's like 5 bodies in there.
Uh-oh. Oh my god. There was like, I saw the guy as I passed, and then I went to go like re-peek. I didn't see him at all, and then I just dropped.
Whoa, yeah.
Yeah. He had like a blue, his name's 222 Camper TTV.
Oh, I got a different one.
Really? Oh, okay. I think the guy that was doing surgery might have got me. Because like it sounded like the shot came from my right. I don't know. I think there's multiple of them in there. Rip. Yeah.
We just contributed 2 more bodies to the pile.
Right.
Working in that room.
Yeah. I wish I had a grenade
Shrap
there.
10. I got hit with Shrap 10. Buckshot.
All right. I think it's time.
It's time.
Are you going to continue streaming? Are you done for the day?
No, I'm done for the day. I did a double shift.
Yeah, I saw you were playing earlier. That's I left a message in your chat. I was like, you set up 2 dates for one day? Whore! I didn't hear you.
I'm going to have a shower in between. I'll be all fresh for you.
Okay, good. Yeah. Jesus. All right, let's find
cheating on you this whole time.
Let's find some sap to raid.
Oh, let's both raid the same person.
Yeah. All right. This is gonna be a hate raid, everybody. No, I'm kidding. I've learned my lesson. Don't do those. Don't do those.
That's right. Yeah. Terms of service.
Yep. You have to lovingly raid people.
What's Aqua's on?
Don't you feel like it's in good taste to raid people that are playing the same game that you're playing?
I think it is in good taste, yeah.
Okay, so we have to find a smaller Tarkov streamer. Okay, let's first of all, how do I find Tarkov? Dude, some of these like IRL streamers are hot. There's some seriously hot ladies doing some IRL streaming. All right, let's see. Escape from. All right, yeah. Let's send 3,000 people into some IRL streamer. Right. Some hot lady. I'm sure that'll go good for us. We'll probably both get fucking banned. All right, let's see here. Hexloom. No Hexloom. We got I don't know who B Horse is. I don't know this.
Oh, there's Wait I'm Cheating is on.
Do not know who that. Toothy's on. Classic Toothy moment.
I think Toothy, yeah.
Hyper Rat TV. Who's like the most wait. This lady looks like a librarian. Yeah. Well, now that I said that, I can't stream her because I was gonna say that shit. All right, never mind. It was just funny because it was like just so out of character for a Tarkov streamer. Yeah, let's do Toothy. Yeah. Wait, did you say Toothy?
Toothy, you mean Sharp Tooth?
Oh no, I meant literally Toothy.
Actual Toothy. Yeah.
It's the number 2 THY.
That's right. Yeah.
Oh wait, we do have to do like a goodbye to everybody. That's important.
Well, we got to sign off, I guess.
Yeah. I have a credits roll. You should get a credits roll.
I feel like if you want, do people stay to the end of that for the raid? I feel like I feel like I would lose people. But yes, no, I need a credit roll. Can you cut me one and send it to me by Monday morning? Just pull my clips. Get some jippy music.
Yeah.
It'll be great.
Oh.
You send it to your guy, add your margin on top.
Okay. I forgot. I was supposed business. I was supposed to record my end. I didn't. Should I just send you my VOD?
You didn't. Oh, okay. I can download your VOD.
Yeah. Okay.
From Twitch. Yeah.
Is it as good of a bit rate if If you rip it versus me download it straight from the thing.
It's the same, I think. It's the same.
You think it's the same? Let's hope. Let's hope. All right, now this time for real, I'm raiding /raid. And that way you do / or is it exclamation point raid?
Oh yeah, I use the button on the Twitch page.
Oh, that would probably be smart. There's a button
there's
for
a
it?
little umbrella icon. Yeah.
I'm gonna do the / raid.
Yeah, you got old school.
Yeah, I started raiding Toothy. I remember
I've
Toothy.
started.
I remember Toothy when he was just a little boy, a little rust
When he
boy.
When he was just one thing.
Yep, and now he's a big old Toothy. He's a big old boy.
Well, it's been great playing. Thanks for making the time. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I feel like I learned something about America.
Everybody needs a little bit of America in them. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. A little rebellious, unjustified rebellion mixed with just stupidity. I think is pure unadulterated, just like confidence that's not earned. That's the American way. Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Catch
All right.
you later, man. I'll see you in Vegas.